Back at it on a Friday afternoon, Studio 110.live. Dirty Harry back in the captain's chair, back on the air, man. Feels so good. Shout out to everyone out there that's been on the show, that's coming on the show, man. We're seeing people share our posts on social networking. We're seeing the traction on our Instagram, thanks to my lovely show producer and right hand, Erica, working so hard here behind the scenes. I'm going to be very honest, because I'm an honest guy. We started with 22 Instagram followers, and right now I want to say we're about 2,400 real followers. We don't believe in doing any of that aftermarket BS crap. We're in the real deal business right here at Studio 110.live. So much to talk about today. I'm going to try to incorporate some music news stories. Cardi B has finally come out to address her pregnancy rumors. I've got some audio. She sat down with my guys from Beats One down in Los Angeles. We're going to hear what she had to say. Shout out to all the guests that were in here yesterday. Yesterday was like a cannabis show. We had growers in here. We had farmers in here. We had retail. We had consultants. That's how big this show is getting, ladies and gentlemen. I'm hearing people talk about it when I'm going to restaurants. They were at Studio 110.live with Dirty Harry. It's becoming monumental. We're not playing games here. And I'm so privileged and honored to have my buddy in the studio right now. Of course, also my show producer, Erica, my buddy, Ryan Conley. Welcome again to the show. Thank you for making it a priority to adjust your day and adjust your schedule to be here. It's very important to me as the host for you to come on and talk about FutureNet and everything that we're building here, from artists to nightlife to hemp, cannabis, to everything related to how cannabis is making the major measurements that it continues to make within our local city here where we broadcast from in downtown Bellevue, but domestically and internationally. So Ryan, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me back on the air, Harris.
Thank you.
It's been awesome.
Thank you very much. What are your exciting plans this weekend? What are you doing? It's Friday. Now we're getting into the weekend,
Well, my kids are out of the country right now, so taking this time just to be an entrepreneur, that's what I'm really very passionate about, and just connecting with people. And had a lot of friends from out of town.
Great.
So I'm going to take some time to relax a little bit, but also get focused on like what we've learned so much on the big things that has happened over here at Studio 110.
Yep.
There's been so many people that have been coming through here.
Yep.
So I think that's what Eric and I and you have been working on, is really making this like where it can be such a great place and a venue, and with our social media network, just making things happen this next week.
And I'm really excited for you to meet one of the larger guests, and he happens to be on the show. He adjusted his travel schedules to specifically make it today. He's off to New York to do some press for his obviously his star-studded TV show called The Deadliest Catch. I want to say it's A&E's and the Discovery Channel's top-rated show. They're out in the big waters in the ocean and risking their lives to catch these fish for us to eat, ultimately. So Josh Harris, a longtime friend, a TV star, will be in the studio today. Miss World will be in the studio today. We got a lot of guests next week. Shout out to my buddy Mac Slug. So that's what I was saying earlier. This show is incorporating music, fashion, nightlife, anti-aging, everything going on in cannabis. We got so many guests coming up. Erica and I, my show producer, we formulated a brand new list today that's carrying us on through April and May. And then we have so many people that have been hitting us up, and we're getting to you. I know, believe me, I know you guys want to get on the air. We got a staff here dedicated to getting you guys on the calendar, but let's kick it off. It's Friday. I'm excited for the weekend. I got a lot of shout outs I got to give today from people listening that are going to be coming in. There's a lot of local shows. Devin the Dude, shout out to G Prez. Devin the Dude's going to try to stop by hopefully later this afternoon. He's got another appearance, but we're trying to get him here in the studio. And then there's a big show at Numos also this weekend that we're going to continue to talk about. So I wanted to get Erica on as well, Ryan, with us to talk about kind of what's happening this weekend for just around this town, so people can kind of have an outlet. We're their concierge built in to be that one-stop shop. So let's kick it off right now with you, Ryan. You're doing major astronomical things with FutureNet and obviously with this show combined. And we just got some. I want to talk about this real quick. We just got some big news that you sent me that I wanted to chat on the show, that I want you to kind of pick up and after I go. But this just came in 36 minutes ago. Breaking news from one of our top sources here at Studio 110.live. FutureNet, third place in the top 200 direct selling companies Alexa ranks. Huge. Can you please pick it up?
Yeah. So what's really important about this is, we're in the top 3, which is always good. It's best to be number 1, of course, but we are making big waves in the online marketing, the ability for people to work from home. And Alexa actually ranks websites. That's the way they do is based off of traffic and how many people you have coming from a website. So they can take those analytics and say who comes most to these online network marketing companies. And you guys, this is just a massive, massive sign. Here we are, number 3 in the world above Janess, Melaleuca, Nu Skin, some of these companies that we've heard about before. But this really shows, where social media is at today. People are ready for a transition, and obviously social media is a major trending thing. So think about this as you guys basically owning the social media network instead of a corporation. That's a big concept, and that's why we are at the top of the top 200 ranked search companies on the face of the earth right now.
That's amazing. I'm not going to lie. So when I first heard about Studio 110 and kind of collaborating with, FutureNet, I was a little bit hesitant because I didn't know much about FutureNet. And as time has progressed and I've actually gotten to see so many different benefits from it. And, with, I'm not going to lie, but, with kind of not really having the privacy privilege of, keeping our things, to ourselves and stuff like that. Facebook it's kind of disappointed in some ways, but FutureNet is definitely just something that I am so grateful that I actually got to see and, actually have gotten to explore with and see the benefits of. And it's actually such a phenomenal company. I can't believe it. And I'm so excited to see where it's headed because it's the new Facebook.
Yeah, the new Facebook that pays the people. And that's what I love about this. Yeah. It's not just about building a business. This is about being part of a movement and something that's cutting edge, because if we only need to own this social media network one time, it's not like we really kind of want to simplify our lives. So if we support this cause, then I think we can make something, the scalability to where exactly we want it.
Yeah.
So Ryan, what's a good way for all the listening audience to know right now? How can they ultimately sign up? What's the proper piece of ingredient that they need to do right now, either on the palm tips of their cell phones or their laptops, if they're at work or if they're taking this Friday off to have a 3-day weekend? What do they need to do to get more information on FutureNet? Because we're not joking. So
for sure, what I would do is I would say send to Erica's link here. The way the system works is it's actually about how this benefits all of us, you and our programmers here and everything like that. But to sign up underneath Erica's link, and we can go ahead and put Erica's link at the bottom of the podcast here. Okay. I forget what off the top of my head it was.
So what we'll do is we'll get it on our show's Instagram at studio110.live. That'll be the featured latest post. So you can go to studio110.live, and I'll have my show producer, Erica, post that up. Within the hour, it'll be up there by 3 o'clock today, since we do have a busy show today. In addition, we've talked about, we've kind of dug into several capabilities of FutureNet. But for someone like a first-time beginner in FutureNet, Ryan, what would be a good amount, in your professional, humble opinion, for someone just to get started so they can really see the traction and build up their awareness and their ultimate dollar sign? Yeah,
very simple. So what I do is, obviously you want to go create a free account underneath Erica's link. We'll put in here, which is underneath Dirty Terry's your link as well. So we all benefit once again, but I'd encourage you to set up a free account and then go in there and just, when you post social media content on your iPhone, I would just put your FutureNet right next to your Facebook. That way, when we do these content producing activities that every day all of us do, posting something on Facebook, you're just duplicating content straight onto FutureNet. That way, when your friends start looking at FutureNet, they see a more balanced platform where people actually, people are personally putting stuff, not just a bunch of business spam on there. So, but we are all responsible to start building that content right there. And obviously, content's worth a lot of money. That's why Facebook's making $25 billion a year. So all we're doing is we're working smarter, not harder, and reversing that to where the income goes to the people. So do that. And then we'll have an email that we can send out to others as well. Maybe put that on. I think we should have that actually put on your website.
Okay, great.
So people can have that information on there as well.
So if you're just tuning in right now, studio110.live. Follow us on Instagram at studio110.live. If you believe me, you have nothing else better to do than follow us right now at studio110.live. It's a Friday afternoon show. We're all excited for the weekend. I got my buddy Ryan Conley. I got my show producer Erica Herrera here in the studio with us today. We got a big show today. Josh Harris, from the star-studded show, The Deadliest Catch. He'll be on the air with us this afternoon. We got Miss World. Hopefully our buddy Mac Slug will make his way down here, and Devin the Dude. So it's a great Friday afternoon show. Ryan, Ryan, I wanted to kind of touch on just some of the most recent developments that we've both been excited about that you fill me in on, just in terms of, the FutureNet partnership in conjunction with the cannabis-related business. We had a lot of cannabis people in here. Is that something we can talk about yet,
Sure.
or do we have to hold away?
I'll kind of talk about where it's at right now, and then maybe I'll open up about some of the things that we're trying to do long term. I don't necessarily like talking about big things that are going to happen. I want to jinx them.
We have a lot of big things in the works, but can we give like just a little sneak peek or a little surprise?
Definitely. Most definitely. First of all, this week, we had a very good mixing socially with some guys who are the head of the cannabis space. And so they have their own penthouse tower over there that's even higher than our 33rd floor one here. Beautiful unit right outside Bill Gates's helicopter landing pad stuff. It was phenomenal, and just top quality people out there. And these guys, they're very, very big. So this is where all these companies come locally in a state that weed is actually legalized. So it's very interesting to see this meeting of the minds, and people bring their companies, where they've got their own bank even that he owns that has this penthouse. So they're funding projects as an incubator think tank for people that want to be active in the space.
Okay.
And just this week, think about gold and cannabis are the biggest two commodities really out there, the hottest two commodities.
Yep.
And so the stuff that we're working on, in cryptocurrency and in just watching cryptocurrency actually blend in with the cannabis space, and us having the ability on this social media network to kind of blend that and uplift and give these, these growers and these oil manufacturers and all these different niches, music in the cannabis space and all this, but how do they all come together? Is through social media. Right. And so we're opening up our doors here at the penthouse over here.
Studio 110.live's headquarters.
Yep. For those people over at that penthouse and all those owners to come over here to take advantage of, the show here and to monetize into FutureNet. So we're uplifting and just bringing in. So that's
just another really brilliant move. Just another brilliant move that the brains here, headed by you, Ryan, that are happening. And that's just one of the many things. I'm told from a couple of our staff members that are down currently in Los Angeles. They hit me up earlier that maybe this afternoon I'll be making a major announcement about something coming up in a few months that everybody's going to need to be part of. It has to do with a lot of celebrities that I'll be announcing on the big show. Hopefully I'll get the clearance. I'm monitoring my phone as I'm on the air. Normally I don't, but for a major announcement like this, I'll continue to do that.
But what we can say about on that note is our goal is to show how social media is going to tie into upcoming events in professional, I'm talking humongous concerts we plan on putting on, crypto concerts as we call them, where the musicians come in, the people learn about crypto beforehand, and boom, the show takes places. But these famous people, let's say Jeezy, for example, or something.
Good example.
Right?
Yeah.
He's in FutureNet. He's like up on stage. Hey, everyone, follow me on FutureNet. We are going to get the video coverage, and that's why we're making things go bigger and bigger every single day at Studio 110 to launch that. This is all in place, guys, happening. Just show you where this is all headed. Whether this is comedy shows, if this is musicians, if this is the next summer jam. I don't know what the non-compete is, but our goal is to actually put on an event that is humongous, that ties in social media where you all can benefit, and that's what we're excited about.
Well, believe me, I'm not even worried about it, Ryan, because no one will be able to compete with us. With my brains and your brains and Erica and everybody as a collective effort here. If you ask me to throw a concert here for 22,000 people, I have the recipe to be able to do that. So we're in the works on a lot of different things in a continuous pattern here at Studio 110. And believe me, shout out to other shows out there that are doing what they're doing. But I've always been a competitive guy, and if you come too close, we're like at the top of the mountain, and we're going to shoot you down.
The thing about Harris, I love this saying: collaboration is a new competition. I'm watching people recently, jumping from different music, people that I love in the music space, been celebrities in the, having their on radio shows the past coming years, and just watching what they're doing in their lives right now. I saw, we got country music stations here in town. We got hard rock KSW in town. Spoke to Mike Ricker this morning. He's coming on our podcast and stuff like this. But what I love about what we're doing, and this is, if you want to kind of touch base on this, the reason why you saw, can you decide come working with us instead of working with, KSW or something like this, because you understand where the tools that we're using, the social media, the monetization in with our social media you want to explain kind of how you see
I would
the
love
future?
to. I would love to. So Ryan brings up a good point, and I ask Erica, my show producer, this. I ask people all the time, and I kick it off with this one sole question: when you get in the car, ladies and gentlemen, do you listen to the radio? I've asked the same question now for weeks, months. None of my friends listen to the radio anymore.
I do not even listen to the radio.
They don't want they don't want to listen to long commercial breaks, and they don't want to hear tight playlists. Everybody is about podcasts. Snoop Dogg's got a podcast. All these big artists have podcasts. Last time I checked, podcasts is the wave of the future.
Right.
So when Ryan and I started talking business, and I signed to the dotted line to come on board here for my brand new show and really develop this pattern into the proper pedestal that it needs to be in, I saw the future. I fully wrapped my head around FutureNet. I saw. I mean, like I've mentioned many times on the air, one of Ryan's business partners. I mean, if this is not proof, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me very closely now. One of Ryan's business partners, we had a catered breakfast up here at Studio 110.live's headquarters a few Sunday mornings ago. This gal was trying to make ends meet. She was struggling. I want to say she had a son and a daughter. She was an Uber driver. Now she is collecting $5,000 a day. Are you hearing what I'm saying? $5,000 a day. The proof is in the pudding. So of course, like, look at the opportunity that I have, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, for 19 years, #1 radio show in Seattle. I'm translating that over to my new show here with Ryan and Aaron and the whole staff here at Studio 110.live. Erica. I mean, we're making monumental things happen, and this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. I mean, there's so many things that I could be talking about right now, but I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. I mean, there's so many things coming up, but we're going to do it accordingly. And on a Friday afternoon show like this, it's about getting into the weekend and feeling good. But by feeling good and getting into the weekend, you got to follow with what we're talking about, because we're ultimately only trying to help you. We're like your doctors. Take our advice. Take our prescription.
Yeah, for sure. It could be an exciting year ahead.
Yeah, it's crazy because if you guys think about it, so Facebook generates about $2.5 or $3.5 million in revenue. And can you imagine if 90% of that actually came back to the people? Like, I think that that's phenomenal that FutureNet has such a large platform to be able to do something like that, where they're able to actually give back to the community, give back to people instead of just taking, I really respect that about the company.
Yeah,
I really do.
it was fun this week also. We had Guy from
Trinity Nightclub.
From Trinity Nightclub.
So now we're reaching out to the head of Amber. But, let's talk about how fast the social...
Shout out to Ryan Lewis. Ryan Lewis owns Amber. He'll be coming in. Ryan Lewis.
Yeah,
His name is Ryan Lewis.
So these are some of the top clubs around here.
Yep.
But I remember when Facebook came out, I was like, when is Facebook going to have like a meeting at the clubs? Like, it just seemed like as soon there's going to be like a meeting at the club where Facebook launched off of. But in this case, it can really give us the ability to monetize the clubbing network and teaming up with bands that come into the event centers, like Trinity and stuff.
And I just met with Stephen, who owns Numos, which is a very popular, very well-established venue on Capitol Hill. He owns Numos, Barboza, and Mobar, and him and I had dinner a couple weeks ago, and I said, I would like you to tell your booking agents, as they book the artists through, to come on the show so we can promote it for them. And then, of course, when they're in here, they'll get the whole full recap on FutureNet, so these artists aren't stuck, giving all their money away to, management and to the labels.
Yeah,
that's the way the labels work.
There's a smarter way. This is fully scalable. Everyone needs to be doing what we're doing, and that's where my level of belief's at.
There you go. I just was sent. Excuse me one second. I just was sent some audio from Cardi B that I want to play on the show. Speaking of Cardi B definitely, if she's fully understandable, should be getting on to our future music app. But Cardi B has this announcement that I would like to be one of the first to play here for sure in the city, if not the country. Some important audio. Here's Cardi B.
Her name is Cardi B, if you don't know. So the news comes out. Cardi says someone close to her has leaked this information about having a baby. And then the album's called Invasion of Privacy. So when are we gonna find out what's what, who's who, and what's happening?
Oh, well, I just feel like people just gotta tune in a little bit on my album, and they will know a little bit more, because it's like I can't address all the rumors and everything. I have been so open to people about myself. People cannot expect me to open about everything. Like, certain things to me, it has to be private. Like, you cannot invade my privacy. I'm not a damn animal at the zoo that you just could see everything. No. like people just will find out more. If it arrived and if it don't arrive, then you gonna know what's going on.
So that was Cardi B talking to my guy down at Beats One Radio, Dr. Dre's channel down there, and I could tell the privacy rumors with her being pregnant or how many months until she gives birth is getting under her skin a little bit, like it should. I mean, she's a big time new female hip hop star who's about to surpass Nicki Minaj in many ways. So I like to just thank you guys. I'd like to just inject exclusive content like that.
And that just kind of really made me think about privacy is very, very important to us. Okay, Facebook is listening to us right now, and I'm not, my phone. I haven't swiped through my safety, whatever, my
privacy settings,
my face to get into my phone, and they're listening to what we're talking about right here. People need privacy, and also I think social media needs to be done more in a way that benefits the people. That people don't feel like they need to be on the phone all the time. We can be less stressed in life because this money is coming from us from the social media, which maybe that actually makes it so a person doesn't have to work 2 jobs to support their family,
right,
and stuff. So, anyways, just
So Erica, if you can kind of, what's going on? Can you give me a couple big events that people should know about for this Friday, transitioning into the weekend before we start getting our guests in here? Because I want to be able to get all this through. I know you worked hard to compile this list. So tell Ryan and I here some events that you're going to be at this weekend, and where kind of the top 3, if you don't mind breaking it down for the Erica Herrera club. Rundown in terms of what's happening around the Pacific Northwest this weekend.
So for all of you guys listening, you probably already know this, but it's Bass Academy this Saturday. For all of you bass heads, I know that this is a big deal because this event only comes once a year and it's huge at the Tacoma Dome. It's going to be headlining with Zombo, and then also, I haven't heard of Borgorn forever, so I'm definitely deciding if I should go to that. It's really tempting because, I can't imagine a better event. But for everybody out there who's going out to the clubs and, gonna be getting it on the weekends, out on the dance floor, there's a lot going on. So we can start off by saying that obviously everyone who loves So Sleepy, that's gonna be Friday. And that is going to be at the, I believe that is at Foundation. Yeah, so that's going to be a really good show at 10 o'clock. And then we've also got Gummy Bear, Atlas, and Electricauto at Foundation too. So obviously Foundation is kind of the place to be if you're not at Bass Academy, because that's probably what I'll be.
There you go, Erica. Thank you for the exclusive rundown. I mean, a lot of people there's not too many shows. In fact, this is the only show in the city that gives you the proper. And we're going to start doing this every Friday. I want to start doing this every Friday.
Yes, I love that.
I want to start doing this every Friday on the show where you give me the top places to be this weekend, and maybe you'll start seeing Ryan and I out together. And and you'll be able to hear more about what we're doing and how people can be part of it. We're going to start doing events up here where it'll be exclusive opportunities to be able to get up here.
Absolutely.
Believe me, you just can't be walking down the street and coming up to Studio 110.live's headquarters.
This is also kind of cool. So this Saturday, for all the people who are not going to the club that night, there's also a Seattle Magazine brunch run, 5K.
Nice. I like
so
that.
That's going to be pretty huge. I definitely wish I could make that. Actually, you know what? I might even try to make that. So for all those people, who are not into the club scene, there's also some events going on. Like you've got the What's in Your Cup Community Brewed Culture event at the Wing Luke Museum. And then you've also got the South Lake Union Tree Walk too. So a lot of people will be joining together for that, kind of just, promote the culture and stuff like that. But that's for people who are not necessarily in the club scene, because we got to have a little bit of both.
Thank you, Erica.
Yeah.
And is our first guest downstairs right now, Megan, Miss World? I know she's supposed to be here at 1:30, so we should probably go down and get her. In the meantime, I'm seeing some breaking news.
Yes, I'm going to go get her.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that very polished club rundown. I appreciate that. And now Ryan and I have some things if we want to get out this weekend and do them. Some breaking news that's just coming through right now at Studio110.live. Shout out to Migos. I never like seeing this. I never like talking about it on the radio, but Migos' tour bus ends in huge drug bust with multiple arrests. So as soon as we get more information on that, we'll be reporting that. I hope the member of Migos, I hope they're okay. but it didn't end in a huge bust apparently. So hopefully Migos is okay. It just came into us about 3 minutes ago here. So shout out to Migos, and shout out to Cardi B too. I think Cardi B, it was a good opportunity for her to speak to Beats, and for her to come out with that announcement how privacy really is affecting her. And Ryan, how you so well picked it up, how Facebook has allowed third-party organizations to get in there and listen to people's conversations and grab people's point of contacts, and it's just nothing. There's not a worse feeling than being up in the middle of the night thinking that someone else could be seeing your settings. They have no right to be doing that.
Yeah. Well, if you've been hacked a few times in life, it only furthers the concept of being protected out there and stuff. But it just is amazing. We're in such an information age right now. If something happens in your life, Cardi B has a baby, whatever, any of us, just how news flies through social media. Where were we 25 years ago, right?
And the nice thing about FutureNet, though, is you don't have to worry about that, though, with FutureNet. There's a reason that Zuckerberg has to go and testify, at DC. I'm sure he doesn't want to do that. I'm sure he doesn't want to do that, but we're not in that business. We're looking out, for people, and the proof is in the pudding. Like I said, I've seen so many testimonials, heard them and seen them, where you just had a doctor up here, you had a medical doctor up here. It doesn't matter. It's not of anybody's business, how much he started with or how much he ended with. But when he was talking, he had a smile on his face. So, so he's doing something right.
Everyone that sees, I think, what we're looking at and takes the time to look at things, they'll fully understand the benefit from it. I know in life we get a lot of things pitched at us all the time, a lot of things shared with us, just like, oh gosh, another thing in the back of your head that you to think about, right? But in this case, what I do love is that we were helping everyone promote what they're doing in life and stuff, and do it with a mission and helping return that money back to the world, third world countries, people eating in Africa. It is. It's a rough world out there.
It's a rough world, and I feel bad for a lot of people. You hear about people having to sleep in RVs and sleep in trailer parks, and they're on food stamps. I get it. It's tough for a lot of people out there to make ends meet. But when people like Ryan introduce new functionalities where the proof really is in the pudding, why wouldn't you listen?
Well, that's another thing I like about it, just to touch base on, the quality of people that you're connecting with on FutureNet, because these are 2.5 million plus people that have got the memo about cryptocurrency, before the masses, right? They're the ones that got the memo about a new social media network that pays the people. They're probably getting information also from those same people about, cutting edge technologies, whether it's solar energy, free energy, or, new breakthroughs in the medical anti-aging, which is where my passion's at and stuff like this.
And we're going to be getting guessing from that, right?
We're going to be stem cells and gene therapy and all this stuff. But I think I want to go where the smarter minds are at, because there's a lot of people on Facebook that post a bunch of nonsense, and that goes the same for every single social media out there.
People like to start stupid rumors just because they're insecure and they're hurting inside, and they have to just put something out there. But at the end of the day, we're laughing at them. They're not laughing at us. So.
Right. So get smart. Connect with more smarter people. Where are you going to do that? You're going to do that on FutureNet, and you're going to get paid for it, and no place can say about that. So I'd really love to see what other people think about out there, what are the other cool platforms are there in social media, because there are people that are moving to other platforms out there. But these things don't pay the people. They don't. I just think the functionality and the team at FutureNet, what they're doing, and for us to give the feedback to make it better, so we spread more rapidly and can do things together. That's what I like to be part of those organizations.
If you're just tuning in right now, Studio110.live, my brand new live podcast show. We got thanks to Sir Mix-a-Lot for kicking off the show.
Thank you.
Shout out to Macklemore. He's about to have a baby here soon, but his camp has informed me that he will be coming in, and within the next couple months, we got to let him be able to introduce his new baby to the world. And just a lot of record executives from LA and New York: Steve Lobel, Dee Sonoram, John Horst McMahon from Atlantic Records, Marty from Def Jam Records, Mark from Universal. Just so many people that are stacked up here on the list that are going to be coming on. Dee Sonoram, Izzy Sanchez, Nasty Ness Rodriguez. We're not playing here. We're literally not playing.
Yeah, we got a good guest list that's coming through that have a lot of other influential people in their life,
right.
And just I'm excited.
And, it's great. Like I said, it's great to have Ryan in here to give us, because look, I just talked about it earlier. In fact, I want to talk about it again. A big story that just came out about 12:52 this afternoon. And I want to just touch on it here again. So this is reporting right now at exactly, like I said, about 42 minutes ago. FutureNet, third place in the top 200 direct selling companies Alexa ranks. Major. I mean, there's a lot of business owners out there, especially with us being surrounded here at Studio 110.live's headquarters in downtown Bellevue. A lot of tech companies, a lot of startups that are just doing whatever they possibly need to do to, get off the ground. Well, I don't see them having these types of, big time news stories for us to be able to talk
I'm
about.
kind of curious, with your being in the radio industry as long as you have, Harris, what are some of the other big technologies that you saw the radio industry jump, things really jump up? You got ringtones came out, you got all these things, but like what technologies did you see break through in your 19 years of the radio industry that you see music kind of evolving where it's at today?
So good question, Ryan. So, when I worked for Def Jam Records before I switched over to radio at Cube 93, back in those years when a record label would sign a new talent, like an artist, like, back in those days I was working with LL Cool J and Foxy Brown and Warren G. And those were the good days to sign at a record company because they let the artists breathe. They let the artists have some good money. And then throughout the years, I started seeing it kind of trumble down ultimately, where they just weren't focused on, and as an artist, to really put together a full album. It was like, like a Soulja Boy, for example, get out that one massive hit on a national level, on an international level, and they made their money. Like you mentioned, on downloads and on ringtones and on the merchandise and on the stage setting. So I've seen it kind of start from, it was good to sign, with a major record company. And I think, Macklemore's a prime example. Like, he's an independent artist, and he had, back in December, he had 2 sold-out shows at Key Arena. Back to back, awesome. He got to keep that money in his pocket, He's got a small little deal with Warner Brothers. But aside to that, in terms of where radio, I believe, before radio just kind of completely lost it, when radio was hot, when I was there, we gave artists opportunities to come into the studio and to be able to do performances. And then I designed something called Studio 93, where we'd invite down like 200 listeners, and they'd be able to come in and have a whole meet and greet with a bunch of artists. So to answer your question, I've seen it evolve a lot, Ryan. I've seen it evolve a lot, where it's been good. So it's been good, and we're going to talk a lot about that more, Ryan. We're going to talk about that a lot more, just how it's a lot more beneficial for artists today with the technology that's at our fingertips for these artists to be able to live a better, happier life. But I think the thing that I want to really focus on is with what we're doing here at FutureNet in cooperation with Future Music. A lot of these artists are going to want to strictly come here to us so they can be on the air at Studio 110.live with me and the whole crew here. And for what we're going to develop into the growth pattern for the flexibility for these artists to be able to have, the comfort zone. So hopefully that answered your question. For sure. Great to see you. Great to see you, my friend Megan here, Miss World. I appreciate if you want to put the headphones on there for me, so you can hear me and I can hear you, and we'll do this. We'll do this right. Is this my buddy Mac Slug here? It is. Good to see you, Mac.
How you doing, Dirty? How you doing?
Good to see you again. It's been a while. I know a lot of people, so I wanted to make sure I got the fact. I didn't know if you were a bodyguard or so. I just wanted to make sure I got the information right here. So I got Mac Slug here, and I got and I got former Miss World. So you and I. Oh, did I say? I thought.
It's okay. 3 more months.
3 more months. Okay. 3 more months.
Yeah,
My apologies.
Don't
3 more.
age me. Just kidding.
3 more months. So you and I had an opportunity, Megan, to meet each other here at Studio 110.live's headquarters a number of months ago, and I know I asked you a bunch of questions because I'm always kind of fascinated to hear how people kind of ultimately get their start, as for like a dream come true opportunity for you. I mean, I'm sure you had to beat out quite a few people to be able to get this, such a high, respect title to you. So in the studio here, Studio 110.live, of course, I got Ryan Conley, I got my buddy Mac Slug here, I got Megan, I got my show producer Erica. It's another busy show, and then I got my buddy Josh coming in today. Josh Harris, he's the star of the TV show Deadliest Catch. So it's gonna be a big show today. So I'm gonna kind of maneuver. I'm gonna kind of switch back and forth from both of you guys because I know I'm on a little bit of a time crunch here before we get these other guests in. But Megan, kind of walk me through kind of how it all started and how it all began for you ultimately.
Yeah, so I've been competing in the Miss World organization for 7 years.
You can come a little closer to the mic for me. Thank
Closer?
you.
You
Yeah,
got it.
Yep.
Ice cream cone it.
There you go.
So I started my journey about 7 years ago, and it took me 5 years before I won the title of Miss Washington.
Okay.
And so it started out at a local level. And what's really unique about this title is you're not just competing against single gals, you're competing against married women as well. So
Wow.
very inclusive pageant. Also makes it a challenge.
Sure.
And
So you got
then-
married people, you got single people,
Yeah.
you got a whole different group of people that you have to ultimately try to take down and win, right? I mean, that's what it is. So
Definitely. And so back in 2016, I won Miss US World and got married right after that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
He's a lucky guy. He's a lucky
so
guy.
lucky. I'm lucky too. He's pretty rad.
Does he count his blessings every day that, he has a beautiful wife like Megan, who he can brag to his coworkers saying that I actually happen to be married to Miss World? I mean, how
Yeah.
many people can say that, you know?
know. We
So
call-
shout out to Danny. Shout out to Danny. So that's his
Yes.
name, correct?
Yeah, or Mr. World.
Oh,
you know.
Mr. World. Okay. There you go. There you go.
And then last May was the Miss World pageant.
Okay.
And showed up, and it was my first time competing against women from all over the world. Very intimidating.
And how many people ultimately did you have to beat out to be crowned Miss World? How many people were in there?
So we had 34 different countries.
Wow.
Yeah. And they were-
34 countries.
And I was the shortest out of everybody.
Wow.
But yeah, it's just been the biggest blessing. And, in 3 months, we're going to be crowning the new Miss World. And I'm just really excited for whoever that is.
Is that going to be emotional for you to, have to give the title away to someone else? I mean, you're still going to always be known as Miss World 2017, but what's going to kind of be going through your head when you're on stage having to take off, what's the thing that you wear on your head? The crown.
The tiara, the crown.
The crown, the crown, the crown. Thank you very much. The crown. What's going to be going through your head when you take that off and put that on the next Miss World's head?
So being super transparent, I always wonder what gals because you only get the title for a year. And it's been a 7-year-long journey. And so I actually have dreams about giving the title up, and everything is completely, I procrastinated this whole time, and I don't have a dress, and I don't have my hair, all these things. So I keep having dreams about that moment, and it's scaring me. And I keep telling myself, you know what? You have 100% left of the program. You have 100% left of your reign. And so I don't know what it's going to be like that day, but I know it's been a little freaky thinking about it, to be honest.
Well, don't let your weekend be ruined by thinking about passing over the crown. It's supposed to be hopefully a nice weekend here in the Northwest, where Studio 110.live broadcasts from. If you're just tuning in right now, either on the audio or visual side of the big show, Studio 110.live. Follow us on our Instagram at Studio 110.live. Got another packed show today. Shout out! I don't have time to shout out all the guests this week, but I know you're watching and listening. Thank you all for calling into the show and being in the studio. And some shows I've even had to stay on longer so I can fit in all the guests that have come in. Also, shout out to Mac Slug, still keeping Diddy on the map there with that Sean John T-shirt.
Yes.
I like the Sean John T-shirt, and we'll be talking about you. And I remember back in Summer Jam '98 with you on that stage. So that's why it took me a second to kind of, like I said, I wasn't sure if you were a bodyguard or my guest, Mac Slug. So, Megan, I'm looking kind of over the bullet points here, and I'm reading something that says church plant.
Yeah.
Can we kind of pontificate and expand on what we're talking about with this?
I would be honored. So about 2 years ago, our good friends, Jesse and Sandra Reimers, decided to move up to the Northwest and start a church plant. And so my husband and I have been very blessed with the opportunity to be a part of that leadership.
Great.
And so shout out to Venture Church in Redmond, Washington.
There you go. And where's that kind of ultimately getting to in terms of the progression on that? Like, what's the next step? How can people be involved with that?
So right now, one of the biggest ways to just be involved is just to serving in the children's ministry, and then serving in setup and teardown, because we have service in an elementary school every single Sunday.
Awesome.
And we're there at 5 a.m.
Great.
And we leave at noon. And so, having more hands and feet to serve would be amazing.
And you've taken it part just kind of on your off time to frequent the YMCA's of Greater Seattle in terms of their teen leadership programs. How often are you doing that? And can we talk about kind of some true testimonials from what you've been able to add to some of these people at these great organizations like a YMCA?
Yeah. So the YMCA organization is amazing. I've been working with the YMCA just as long as I've been competing in pageants.
Great.
And when I moved up to the Seattle area about a year and a half ago, I started directing teen programs for Greater Seattle. And so everything from youth in government to hiking and nonprofit projects. I'd say one of the most amazing programs I had the honor of serving in and guiding before I stepped down last August to do Miss World full time was a youth leadership program, and it was Teen Leadership Board. And I remember going into the alternative school that they had in Snoqualmie and speaking with those kids over there, and we had a girl, and I'm not gonna, we'll call her Sally. But Sally had been adopted and had a lot of different struggles. You know, she wasn't really able to leave the house. She wasn't able to go on trips. She wasn't able to stay overnight with friends. And her parents trusted me with taking her to our capital, Olympia, for a whole week to be surrounded by 500 other students. And she was amazing. And so she's still growing strong over there, and I think that's one of the biggest.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a true testimonial itself. Just to be able to have that one-on-one connection, that one-on-one awareness in a situation like that, to be able to connect with someone like that. So, Erica, if you don't mind taking that call real quick outside the studio for me, thank you very much. In terms of the National Alliance on Mental Illness. What is your day-to-day on that side of it? Because I mean, you do a lot. You've been part of obviously your church. We talked about the church plan, the YMCA of Greater Seattle. Obviously, you having to, you told me the night that I met you, there's a lot of traveling that goes into Miss World, and then I'm seeing here, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. So let's talk about that.
Definitely. So first off, mental health is a really important subject to me.
Yeah.
So growing up, one of my aunts helped raise me. And after I graduated high school, I realized that she had battled a bipolar disorder for many years and ended up taking her life. And after that, there's two ways you could go.
Sure.
You could turn your pain and have it really take control of you, or you can turn your pain into purpose and become a champion for other people.
Yep.
And so through research, I found the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and so now I'm actually on the board for the YMCA, the NAMI here in Seattle.
Great. And where do you travel to next? Because I know you have to do a lot of speaking engagements representing the title, the crown of Miss World 2017. Where's the next place that you get on an airplane and go to?
Yeah, so the next stop is actually Dubai.
Dubai, wow.
There's an international fashion week that we'll be going to, so I'm really excited.
It's funny you mentioned Dubai because last night I was actually emailing Diddy. Diddy is an old friend of mine. When he was wearing this Sean John T-shirt, it made me realize it. But Diddy actually is in Dubai right now, and he put out on his Instagram this morning. He took a picture of his hotel room, and I've never been there. It's some place that I've always wanted to go, but it looks amazing. I mean, it looks absolutely amazing just from just how it's developing so rapidly and so quickly. But they say it's really the Vegas times 10 for the Middle East. Yeah. So I know it's not a short flight, but hopefully you're going for at least a little bit of time so you can.
3 days, woohoo!
Yeah. So I hear if you don't have a Lamborghini in Dubai, it's like you're completely out of the ordinary. So
man.
Maybe Enterprise Rent-A-Car there rents out Lamborghinis for Megan here, Miss World. What's kind of a typical off day for you when you're not with the YMCA and you're not around National Alliance on Mental Illness and not around continuing to enlighten and heighten the crown for Miss World 2017? What are you doing on a typical day off?
Yeah, so, and it's so funny because I feel like every day is almost a typical day off, except for when you have that appearance a few times a week.
Yep.
But half of it is just spending time with my husband. We have a personal training business that we run in Redmond.
Oh, cool. Great.
It's super awesome. And then we also have a nutritional company that we work with.
Great.
Nourishing women's bodies especially is very important to me, especially in the pageant world. And I am my mom is like my best friend, and she lives in Ocean Shores. So
Nice,
I
nice.
love to hang out with her and my 8-year-old brother. I get down there. We were actually just there last night. So
Great. And what is your recommendation from someone advanced and that hits the gym every day, or 2 or 3 times a week? What's your workout regimen, and what do you recommend to your fan base to either get them more comfortable to go outside and do a run, around the block, or go to their gym, their destination of choice to do some cardio or weightlifting or whatever it may be. So
that's so good. Well, first of all, just talking about health in general, there's 4 different pillars that we really need to focus on. And one of them is exercise, but then there's food, and then there's stress, and then there's quality supplementation. So if there was 2 things that I would advise anyone to focus on, it's the gym's actually like the last one, even though that's one of our businesses.
Yep.
First off, you got to get your food on track, and
Yep.
you've got to get your quality supplementation on track, because food has gaps.
Yep.
It's not made the way it was 25, 50 years ago.
well,
Do you guys formulate then, or?
No, we don't. We actually work with a national organization called Advocare. And so that we advise through that. So yeah, we're not the SciMed board, thank goodness.
yeah, no problem. Next time you come into the show, I don't know if you guys I don't know if you officially met, but this is Ryan Conley here, the brains behind everything that he's developing in terms of FutureCoin and FutureNet and Bitcoin. So Ryan has a lot of guests coming up, but in terms of the whole anti-aging and everything with Dr. Tammy, it might be good, Megan, for you to come back in just for some of those segments, just because look, you're all about beauty. And I think it could be good to translate her to some of the upcoming guests, Ryan.
Well, one thing I want to say real quick, and I go get my guess, is I hear what and I want to learn more about what you're doing as well, but what you represent and how you have this lifestyle, just like myself, where I've been able to brand myself, and when we really step up and brand it, what we stand for, and we monetize the following that support us with what we're doing, that's actually what we do at our social media network, but we bring together all those things you stand. I want to talk to you about like the mental illness thing and stuff like this, and talk about health. These are all passions of mine. A lot of us share these passions, and how we do this, we do it on the social media a lot too, to really get the word out there about this. So we'll talk more about that later on.
Thank you,
I
Ryan.
appreciate you
Thanks,
guys
Ryan.
having on the show.
Thank you.
Honored.
Thank you.
Megan, what is your recommendation for an up and coming person that gal that would want to capture their dream to be able to ultimately be a Miss World? Like, talk about either what you did or what someone needs to do to be able to get to that level.
Well, to be honest, I went for a long time without a coach.
Yeah.
And if you want to achieve something, you need to be excellent in every area. And so I did not have a background in pageantry like some of the girls I was competing with. And so finally I got a coach who was really straight with me. And she told me, you need to be a human.
Yep.
So you need to be genuine, and it's really hard.
Yep.
So you have to find your own voice when you're in that interview.
Yep.
Health is so important. And ladies and guys, guess what? Healthy bodies to put food into them.
Right.
So
right.
learning how to look and feel amazing is really important on stage as well.
Because like whenever I'm over at friends' houses and I see them eating unhealthy, or I'll see them eating a Snickers bar or Twix bar or Three Musketeers, whatever, I try to be the best friend that I can be and illustrate the proper flight plan by saying, you know what, if you just kind of skip out on that, either tonight or for the rest of the week, and that translates by week by week by week and month by month by month, and next time they get on the scale, or if they go to the gym or whatever their workout regimen is, then usually you see a smile on someone's face. So it's that gives me pleasure to be able to have those types of conversations with my personal friends, to be able to just kind of open up their surroundings and open up their awareness a little bit. Because sometimes you need that friend to just kind of come in there and say, you know what, whether you're a chronic smoker and you're trying to quit smoking, or you just have bad habits in general, sometimes you need like, a Megan or myself or, a Mac. I'm sure you do this for your buddies too. I mean, you just got to kind of be there in life and set that foundation in place, because a lot of people don't have families, unfortunately. They don't. That's the reality of it. They don't have families, and they don't have those backbones where they can really talk to someone in need. And I try to do that as often as I can, whether it's personal friends of mine or speaking engagements where I'll go out and speak to people and just kind of give people kind of the proper illustration that they need to hear from an outside source to just be able to, because all I care about is just seeing a smile on someone's face. That's all I care about at the end of the day. So it's great to have you in here, Megan.
Thank you so much.
I hope you don't go anywhere. I'd like you to stick around here for a few minutes. In the meantime, though, I kind of want to transition here a little bit to my buddy here, Mac Slug. If you can come a little closer, come a little closer to the mic here for me.
Hey, Megan got it. She doing her thing, man. I'm just listening to her, man. You inspirational.
There you go.
What she doing for real, you know? That's real talk, you know.
So some of you're obviously an artist straight out of Seattle, and you've been around. You're one of the kind of the pioneers of Seattle hip hop that's been around for a while.
Yeah.
And it's great to it's great to have you in the studio, Josh. If you don't mind, I'm gonna have you sit right over here. Sure. Josh is also one of my very special guests. Dave, it's good to see you. Dave, if you wanna. You can sit back there or wherever you want. If you want to just put those headphones on and then get close to the mic. Josh, I'll be with you here. You and I are going to spend an hour today on the air, so let me just, you can act as co-host if you want in the meantime. But Mac Slug, let's talk about, you kind of got your foundation and built up your following and, came out with a true vengeance back in, what was it, back about 90, 93?
I would say, we 92, 91 was young, rapping.
Come a little closer to the mic for me. Thank you.
Was rapping with me and my friends because, we was going through, my uncles was like a pioneer at the time, rapping when it's like Sir Mix-a-Lot era and stuff like that, Fresh One.
Yep.
And then, so we was always into that.
Yep.
So, transitioning through the 90s and stuff, playing with it.
Yep.
And then around 92, 93 was like, well, let's do it. Let's take it serious.
There you go. So why did you ultimately decide to pursue music? What was that thing that just kind of got under your skin, or you just had that thing that you just knew that you had to come out and get behind that mic and get on stage and just start rocking it?
Kept me out of trouble.
Kept you out of trouble,
Kept me out of trouble. And my family, they played nothing but the old school, so I was always into beats. First, I wanted to be a DJ. I always wanted to scratch, Jazzy Jeff, and Run DMC, Jam Master Jay. That's what I wanted to do.
Yep.
Because I was beatboxing in school, Fat Boys, I used to love them. So then I was like, freestyling, me and my friends, and then me and my brother was like, shoot, we can do this. Let's start rapping. So then it's already in us, so we just start doing that. And like I said, 93, 92, we just like, this is what we want to do. Because we used to box too, Bumblebee boxing. That's what in the 90s was boxing. Then we transitioned to doing music because it was safe and it kept us out of the street. So
that's fucking
that
awesome.
was it.
I remember I signed on to the radio station back in '97, and I know you were on that Summer Jam station '98.
98.
And that was your group went by Mob Type back in those days. Yep.
Y'all used to Bobby O, man, used to play our song "Let's Get Toasted."
Oh yeah, I remember. Believe me, I remember.
And man, and we had one of the best that 97, 98. Man, we was at all the shows and then hooked up with Cube and everything. That was one of the best thing of my highlight is going to 20,000. And if you guys remember, I came out first. I said, and then everyone came out after that, and we did our thing though. And I still hold that to my heart to meet LL Cool J, Miss Elliott. Who else is on here?
I believe Naughty by Nature was there that
Naughty
year.
by Nature, yeah.
Well, it was. I mean, that's a few years ago. So, my apologies for not remembering the full lineup there. Where did the name Mac Slug ultimately originate from? There, how did you come up with Mac Slug?
Well, Slug came from my grandmother. He used to be Slugger. I used to wear like Louisville Slugger outfits.
Okay.
So they was like, well, Slugger's too long. Slug for short. And Mac came from one of my friends.
Yep.
One of my older brothers.
Yep.
His name was Mac, and then he was like, "Oh, you look like Mac, blah blah blah."
Yep.
And then I was like, "Well, you Mac Slug." So it just transitioned from there.
And where do you see local kind of hip hop music within the Seattle genre right now? Where it's at right now? Where do you feel from you being an artist? Where does it ultimately need to progress and translate to for a lot of up and coming artists?
Yeah.
And for people that are just, still in high school, getting their diploma, but they have aspirations and dreams to either get signed to a label, or to be able to be like the next biggest thing, either out of the Northwest or just, generally speaking.
Well, I would say in this, for my era, it was more like, record stores. We had record stores back with music menu, so we used to go to the record stores and stuff, do sign-ins. Now, you got the internet, so all you got to do is make beats right now. Send it through Facebook, SoundCloud, iTunes. You pay for iTunes now. You're a star overnight. You know what I'm saying? So I would say from the era in the 90s to now, traveling is what you should do,
Right.
Get on these tours, whatnot. get your following up, because that's what it seems like. That's what everybody's doing. And platforms like yours,
Yep.
You can get your music played and come on and be heard and be seen, and just got to be in the street. Just got to be working.
There you go. If you're just tuning into the big show right now, Studio 110.live, my brand new show. I put 19 years on the map back there in the day at Cube 93. I got Mac Slug in here. I got Megan, Miss World 2017. my very good friend that I'm excited about. I'm excited about everybody today, but Josh Harris here. He'll be coming on with me in about 5-10 minutes, and we'll be talking a lot about Josh and Dave. Dave back there. We'll put Dave on to talk about what's going on in the bar club scene these days in terms of nightlife. Megan, I want to go back to you here for a second. We were just kind of talking about music with Mac. When you're in the car driving around, or you're working out, or you're doing whatever you're doing, what music are you? What's your favorite music genre these days, personally?
So I actually lead worship at our church.
Okay.
And so anything that I can find on Spirit, but if I had to choose, I mean, I love top 10 hits.
Yeah.
And my all-time favorite artist is Celine Dion.
Celine Dion,
Yeah.
there you go. just kind of like just from the time that I've had the opportunity to have you on the air here on my show, you seem like a Celine Dion, Tony Braxton.
Yes.
You seem like when you and the husband are going out to dinner on a Friday or Saturday night, the Tony Braxton catalog of love songs is in power rotation in your vehicle when you're driving around. I don't necessarily see you being a Cardi B Migos fan. If I had to kind of label Megan as Miss World, I don't necessarily see that in rotation. But like I said, for me, Snoop Dogg all day. He just continues to reinvent himself, and he lines himself up with friends like DJ Battlecat right up there. A legendary producer currently working on Dr. Dre's new album. He'll be joining the show. I don't know, next week or the week after. Erica handles my show calendar.
He's going to be up here, too. Yeah, he's going to be up here.
He'll be up here. He's going to be coming in the studio. And shout out to Cocaine, one of Snoop Dogg's artists down in Tacoma. And so the show is developing very nicely. Where Josh is sitting right now, Sir Mix-a-Lot sat in that chair 3 weeks ago from yesterday. To kick off my first show, Marcus Trufant was in here, Andy Stokes was in there. So the show is developing just really just the pattern of growth that I'm seeing. I'm always honest when I talk about things. The show started off with 22 Instagram followers before I turned this mic up for the first time. Now we're about 2,500. So that's not bad just for a couple weeks, and I can see how it's progressing so, and that rapid cycle. So I'm very happy to hear that. Megan, are there any in terms of social networking avenues, any ways that people can reach out to you for advice, or whether it's on the Miss World side, or future appearances at YMCA of Greater Seattle, or the National Alliance for Mental Illness? Are there any ways that people can reach out to you and ask a question, or do you keep that kind of private?
Yeah, so I love talking to people. So 2 ways. What's really sad? I'm learning how to use social media. My director was like, you have to get a Twitter. You need to get an Instagram, a Facebook. I was like, oh gosh, can someone else please run these for me?
Yeah.
But so Miss World at missworldpageants.org.
Okay.
But also Megan Built, MEGHANBUELT. Just
Awesome.
my Facebook page. Just send me a message.
Great.
I'd love to connect with anyone.
And I'd like to have you back in here, and maybe we can talk about the experience of you having to take the crown off. How many people will you be, not just in the crowd itself, how many people will be there versus how many people will be watching that day, for that iconic day that you take the crown off your head and then you pass it on to the next, the next lucky, dream come true winner, right?
That's so
serious business.
They're streaming it internationally just because of all the countries that are being, so I don't know that number, but
it's on an international level.
It is. Yeah. So I'm,
I wouldn't even want to take a guess.
Let's count the seats. No.
I wouldn't even want to take a guess, but I'm sure I would think that stylists would be reaching out to you in terms of what to wear, and I'm sure you've got makeup people and hair people behind the scenes, looking at your pictures now, kind of your style. So once you kind of sit in that chair, you're ready to go. All you got to do is think about what you're going to say, and I'm sure you've already thought about that. So that's a pretty big speech and a pretty big pad to be able to unveil to the world, right?
Definitely. And waterproof mascara that day, for sure.
There you go. There you go. So I want to thank you again for coming by the show, and let's make it a repeated pattern. Maybe next time you come in, we can. Maybe if there's an opportunity locally, we can bring in some contestants.
Oh, that'd be great.
And
Yeah.
you can kind of give your thought process on how you ultimately achieved the major opportunity like you did. And I think there's a lot of things that we can talk about. Like I said, I'm all about YMCA and aligning myself and my brand like I do with National Alliance on Mental Illness like you do. So I think it really shows that true core inner foundation to align yourself with these proper alliances, and big congratulations to you. In my walk of the woods, we say mazel tov. So, we say mazel tov in the way I was brought up. So, congratulations to you,
you so
for
much.
being recently married, and he's a lucky man. So, I thank you again for coming by. You're more than welcome to hang out. I don't want you to think that you have to leave. The chair and the mic is yours for the rest of the afternoon. Mac Slug,
Yes.
I know before I transition here to my next guest, we talked about just kind of reinventing yourself
Yes.
as an artist here locally, and in terms of kind of what you're seeing right now in the music game. In terms of and I kind of used the word reinventing, rebranding,
Yeah.
recirculating.
Yes.
What are you seeing out there that you're liking, and what are you seeing out there that really does need some work on the local hip hop scene?
I like a lot of the locals though, man. It's a lot of deep talent out here.
Yep.
From the
If you come a
central
little
area-
closer to the mic.
From the central area to the South Seattle to West Seattle, all over Tacoma. So it's a lot of good artists out here. They just need the outlet, for people to hear them and whatnot. But
We can get them. We
Yeah.
can get them stacked up here on the calendar. It's going to be a couple weeks, but we can get them stacked up here on the calendar, and we can utilize. I think we should utilize my new show
Yes, that
as
would
an
be-
outlet
that
for
would
these
be- that
artists to
would be
come
love.
in here and do some performances and some Studio
Yeah.
101, features. I think we should do that.
Because I would say one thing about the new artists, what they're doing, they're working with each other, putting out a ton of videos. You go on Google Seattle hip hop, man, there's a lot of artists, they just doing videos back to back.
Yep.
Competing with the people from California, down south. So Seattle, and I would say Seattle, Tacoma, collectively, man, is on the forefront. They run it.
Because hopefully people aren't doing the old traditional way of showing how to promote a night by doing flyers anymore. Nothing made me more angry than it's a rainy Seattle night and getting to your car and seeing
see the
flyers
flyers.
on the windshield, around the windshield wipers and around your car.
No, I don't see too many flyers.
And now what they need to do, and I've been telling these guys for years to do it, and sure enough they start doing it, and then they call me later and say, "Hey, Dirty Harry, thank you so much for the advice. I had a packed, full, sold out show. Really easy, 25 to 30-second social engagement videos where all you got to do is just get on a good quality phone and talk about whatever you're doing. If you're an artist, or if you're like a Megan from Miss World, or a big time TV star like Josh Harris here from a top rated TV show iconically called The Deadliest Catch. I mean, we all have different avenues that we can always incorporate, especially with what Ryan and I are doing here, with all the business that Ryan and I are doing. You're going to start seeing a lot more daily videos going out on social networking on our Instagram at Studio110.live. Any shout outs, Mac, that you want to give to anybody out there? I'm sure you got quite a few. So
I want to give shouts out to all my family. Hold on, my voice.
that's all right. We got. I designed the studio. We have cough buttons, so if you have to cough on the air, you can actually press that button. And no one will hear it. That's the advanced way of studio technology today. So,
all right, I want to give shouts out to everybody: Reno Red, Fresh One, Taxi Zip, Young D, Soup, everybody from the Most Mob. The whole town, everybody, Tacoma, West Seattle, man, the whole Northwest. I'm riding with you.
Cool.
I got it on my back.
There you go. And I appreciate you coming in. Feel free to stay on.
Northwest-ism music.
Feel free to stay on with me if you want to stay. If you got to leave, I totally understand. Same for you, Megan. Any shout outs you want to give to anybody, Megan?
Oh gosh.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I always like to kind of end my segments and transition into my next guest by doing shout outs. Yeah, that's good, Ryan. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I just, my little brother Chase, he's 8 years old, super cute. My mom, best friend, of course, husband Danny, and then my best not mom friend, Lindsay Schimmelfenny. She's taking care of my dog right now.
I'm trying to wrap my head around that last shout out. My best friend, mom friend.
Who's not my mom.
Who's not your mom?
Right.
Okay.
My real best friend's my mom. But then there's like the one that's not your mom. That's your best friend.
There you go.
Your maid of honor in your wedding.
So that was almost the Megan Miss World remix for the way we do shout outs on this show.
That's right.
So I appreciate that, and hopefully you'll tell everybody the great experience that you had up here at Studio 110.live and how FutureNet and Bitcoin and everything that we're doing here as a collective effort showed you the time of your life. I don't think there's a better way to kick off your Friday afternoon weekend than being here on the air with me and my show producer Erica and Ryan Conley and everyone else. Please feel free to stay with me on the air. I do want to transition here into my next guest of honor here. I appreciate you juggling things. I know you've been traveling a ton. And I haven't seen you in a while. It's great to see you. You look younger and better than ever. But the one and only, the TV star of the top-rated, iconic TV show, The Deadliest Catch. I know you're continuing to win awards left and right on the TV show. So I don't know, Ryan, if you two have had an opportunity to meet. Ryan Conley, Josh Harris. So Josh, let's get caught up to speed here. So I know you're working on, you got a lot in the works. What have you been currently filming? Is that your TV show that you've been filming?
Yeah, we just finished up doing Deadliest Catch, and then I had to go down and do some stuff with The Rock, and then Chris Pratt for Jurassic World, and then I'm back here for a couple days. I'm actually going to be with Mix over in New York here for the next week.
So Mix a lot.
Yeah, he's got a show coming out through Discovery, so it's kind of ironic that he sat in this seat. And
there you go. See, and please tell him I said hello. I just talked to him a couple days ago. He's going to be checking in with me. He's on a 47-city U.S. national tour right now, and he'll be coming back. Cool. He'll be coming back in the studio with me when he returns back. Coming back from his 47-city tour, so that's great. What season are we going into right now for The Deadliest Catch?
Season 14.
Season 14. Wow.
Yeah.
14.
A question.
Yeah.
Now, if a guy was parched, do you happen to have anything to drink in the studio?
I can get my show producer Erica to get you a drink. We can get I don't know where Erica is, but
we'll find her.
We'll find her. We can get you something to drink.
Fantastic.
Maybe Dave. I could if you just kind of walk out my studio here,
you know what to do.
And you make a right and you go down the hall. You'll see our studio kitchen, and you should be able to find something in our fridge or on the shelf there for Josh.
You know what to do, buddy.
So
hey, thanks, my man. I'll check this out. I'm really excited about this.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Yeah. So Josh, I want to kind of get into this. 14 seasons, and the show it's a top-rated show on the Discovery Channel or A&E.
Yeah, no, it's Discovery.
Discovery Channel.
Yeah, 14 years, and it just doesn't seem to be dying. Now the kids are watching it with their families. It's very odd. You know, I get the best audience of young 18 to 26-year-olds, or I'm getting like the 50 to 90-year-olds.
Yeah.
It's a weird mix now.
Yeah, because when you and I have gone out to dinner in the past, you get recognized. People come up to you and they want a picture. Hey, that's Josh from The Deadliest Catch TV show. So, it must feel good just to be able to, like you just said, translate and progress into multi-generations. You have kids watching you, you have their parents watching you, and you'll have their kids watching you. It must feel good.
That's crazy. Our show's in 204 countries. It's number one in 189 of them. So it's
204 countries. Mm-hmm. Wow. Do you still have to? Do they still ask you? Does the TV network still ask you to go internationally and do appearances?
Yeah, I'm kind of their piece of furniture right now. So I'm a corporate puppet.
And thank you. I told Ryan this, but I wanted to thank you. Ryan, you have a good friend when you have to embark off to New York City, but he stays here just to be able to be on the air with me. I think that shows a good friend. And
many years of hanging out with this man.
So
see what happens after I have a couple cocktails. It gets really interesting. I'll tell you what, we have a good time.
That shows a good friend. So Josh, in addition to your top-rated TV show, The Deadliest Catch, let's talk about your relationship with The Rock and who else did you mention? You mentioned
Chris Pratt. He actually grew up in Lake Stevens. He's like exactly like me.
Yep.
The Rock, it's like he's got his entourage of 20 people. If you take a selfie on set with your buddy or something, there's a guy even bigger than him that snatches your phone and will delete your whole picture history.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy. Then he hands it back to you.
I've had an opportunity to interview The Rock via phone, but I've never actually met him face to face. What kind of guy what's he like off camera?
You just don't spend much time with him. He's in and out. He has a guy that looks exactly like him, same tattoo, sits in the chair. They do a lighting test on that guy, and then he comes in and sits down. It's just real business.
Now, is this a new movie that you're working on?
Yeah,
with
we
them?
did Rampage.
Okay.
And then we did the new Jurassic World coming out with Chris Pratt, and that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with that one. He's a cool dude.
And you're in the new movie Jurassic.
No, we're just tie-ins.
You're just tie-ins, okay.
Yeah, so
and when is that coming out?
Jurassic World comes out like in June sometime. Rampage, I think, comes out next week or 2 weeks from now or something like that.
How do you feel your TV shows evolve from season to season in terms of just? I mean, it's like if I'm not mistaken, I did some research, and being a professional commercial fisherman is considered one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. I mean,
Yeah, we have the second highest death rate. It's more dangerous than being dropped in the middle of war.
Wow.
My life expectancy isn't very good. That's why I'm a little off kilter a lot of times.
Sure.
A couple of fries short of a Happy Meal. But I always say thank you and please, and I hold the door open for ladies. So, that's the way we roll.
So how would you say that your show has evolved just from, either on a family level or just the other stars of the show? I mean, obviously you're the main one.
It's just the biggest mystery of life is death. People love to see mayhem. Limbs getting ripped off or people dying. It's just fucking something that people cannot fathom, and they want to see it, especially when it's not cut.
Sure.
Watching guys' fingers get lopped off and then you're seeing the exact, finger hanging off or whatever. People like seeing that stuff.
Sure.
Very crazy. So it's not really evolved. It's just like, I don't know, my whole adult life I've been on TV now, that's pretty crazy to think. You met me many years ago.
Yeah.
And now it's like just following us, and all the struggles that we've had, from peoples that have had families that have died or taken over different, guys growing up, their parents pass away, they got to take over companies or drugs, with family members. All these things are, important to people. They watch where I succeed and where I fail, dealing with these issues. Yeah. Fantastic.
There you go.
Just
Now-
got
now-
a frothy beverage.
Now you'll feel better. I want you to be in the best state you can possibly be while you're alive on the air with me here today at Studio 110.live. Of course, we got Megan here, Miss World. We got Mac Slug. We got my buddy Ryan Conley here from FutureNet. And
I'll tell you what, these guys are awesome. First off, I'm looking at Mr. Slug's CD cover.
Mac Slug,
Straight
yeah.
up.
Thank you,
Awesome, man. Mac,
Appreciate
you're
it.
amazing.
Hey.
Miss World, you're hot.
I'm a big fan of Deadliest Catch, man.
Hey, thanks, man.
I'm a big fan. I love that show, man.
Thanks,
I do.
man. I should have stayed in college. I mean, that's one of the biggest deals. It's so crazy though when you get to meet artists or people that are just like look like they popped out of a magazine. It's like it's really cool because we're funny looking, but we get away with this stuff.
You guys y'all do on that show, man. I watched how you guys be doing it. I'll be like, man,
Dude, when I see it, I'm like, I don't even know how the hell we're doing it. I mean, we work 36 hours on, 4 hours off, and we do that for months at a time. So it's like when I get home, I'm so excited. The first meal I eat, it is absolutely incredible. Even if it's a McDonald's cheeseburger, I'm like, this is the best damn cheeseburger I've ever eaten because you're so excited to be home. And then that's the Axel Hillstrand out there too from the Time Bandit. He's
from the
actually,
Time Bandit?
yeah, he's here with
Okay.
us too. But he's just kind of hanging out, checking
he
out.
can come in.
stuff.
If you have other guests, they can come on in. They can sit in these chairs here behind the studio and all that. So, question: when you're getting on the boat or multiple boats to go film your TV show, The Deadliest Catch, come on in. When you're on your boat filming your TV show, The Deadliest Catch, Josh. How many weeks or months are you out to sea for as you're filming?
Well, you know
Episodes
what?
and
That is a great question. We get a lot of amount of crab, so if I do my job right, hopefully we're just out there for a couple weeks. If I don't do my job right, it could be a couple months. That's
Yeah.
when people start getting a little angry and Bering Sea dementia kicks in.
Yep.
And that's when shit gets real.
Yeah. And
Can
what's
we
the-
swear on this?
I prefer not, but
But sometimes it slips out. So
No problem,
I'm
no
doing
problem.
a lot better than I usually do.
You do. You definitely are doing a lot better than you normally do. So, question: you mentioned it's so repetitive, and there's very little sleep out there. I mean, what you're seeing on the show is real life. This is not animated. This is like really happening.
Yeah, no, it is. It sucks. I mean, hence my dad passed away on the show. I mean, that was crazy.
I'm very sorry about that.
That was
my sincerest condolences. I know you lost your father on that. And what season was that?
that was season 7, I think.
And now you're up to 14.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's kind of crazy to think, isn't it? But see, it's kind of crazy. I took last year off because my grandpa was in the hospital. I had my mom in ICU, my brother in ICU, my grandpa in ICU,
Wow.
and the mother, my child's mom in ICU, all at the same time.
Wow.
3
Wow.
in one hospital, 1 in another. So for 6.5 months, I was going to ICU every day,
Wow.
seeing everybody. Then grandpa gets out. My dad's dad, he passes away. So it was kind of crazy. Brother gets out, robs my house. Drugs, don't do them, kids. And, it was just like a very stressful time. So I took last year off from fishing. And then, we get in back to the boat. We did a bunch of stuff. The boat had a whole new crew except for one guy. And So it was kind of weird, you know,
Sure.
like adapting back to the boat. And then it's like, can I still do it? I've taken a whole year off here. You know, am I going to be able to go out there and do it like I used to do it? And we did. And all the old time guys that got mullets and stuff that they're old and crusty that are on the show, we're not going to mention names like Sig, said that I couldn't do it. And we ended up kicking his tush. So it was good.
There you go. And you know, so many TV shows today, Josh, and we don't need to necessarily mention the shows, but so many TV shows today we
got to get a picture with
it. Yeah, we definitely do.
Yeah.
Would die for an opportunity to be able to be, you know, on primetime television for 14 seasons. I mean, how many TV shows have we watched in our lifetimes that are lucky to make it, you know, past 2 or 3? Because they don't reinvent themselves, they don't rebrand themselves, and they don't realign themselves with good, positive growth, with good, you know, strategical new warfare to be able to, you know, uplift them. That's what it's about at the end of the day. And the Deadliest Catch, as iconic as it is, I think people like it for so many reasons, that it's real. It's real. Like this show, you hear sometimes cell phones going off. I would always appreciate people that turn down their cell phones when they come on the air here with me. But I mean, you know, the background noise that you're hearing, I mean, it's real. Like, I don't believe in doing pre-recorded shows. I mean, what you're seeing on the audio-visual side at Studio110.live is the true core inner reality of the show that I'm building out here with my wonderful producer Erica and Ryan Conley and Ryan's staff here at FeatureNet. And I'm excited for you guys to talk after I get off the air here, for Josh and Ryan to talk, because Ryan's working on some very big things here at our office.
Fantastic.
So progressing here in terms of the show and the movie with The Rock and Chris Pratt, what else is kind of going on in Josh's life in terms of day-to-day right now?
Boy, shit, that's the real deal she's putting on there, isn't it?
It is.
Dude, that is amazing. We are so getting a picture with all this. I'm so proud of this. This day is amazing. You guys, you know what? Before we talk about me, let's talk about you. I want to say I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
This is an amazing studio.
Thank you.
You got amazing guests.
Thank
Eric
you.
is on point. I'm a little concerned about this man over here.
You shouldn't be.
No, I'm just playing around.
He shouldn't be.
No, it's great vibe in here, and I'm
Thank you.
really happy about what you got going on here.
Thank
Nice
you very
job,
much.
brother.
Thank you. And you're one of my, you know, all my guests have been big. All my guests have been big, but to get a TV star and someone so respected locally in the community, and you always do things for people. Like if someone asks you for a picture and an autograph, all the times that we've gone out to dinner, you know, you do it. There's a lot of, and I always do it too. And I always used to tell the staff back in the day, if someone asks for a picture and autograph, I don't care if you're running late for anything, you do it. Because that one experience, if you say no to that one person, they'll remember for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, you know, it's also like I remember doing a deal with Kim Kardashian a long time ago, and it was like the people in the crowd were like, "Oh, hey," you know, it's like you go down and shake their hand. She's like, "You know, why are you touching the peasants?" It's like those peasants are the one that sprung you up, you know.
Right.
Well, I'm watching your sex tape to get into this little position that you're in now, where you got a Mac line that's worth close to $1 billion. So it's like, you know, they're not peasants, they're people, and they're buying all your stuff.
Right.
You know, if you have any way where you get any notoriety and you can change people's lives, because a long time ago when I was homeless as a kid, you know, at 15 on, and you know, I had a lot of really crappy things happen in my life, but I could always use everything as a crutch. You know, did every drug in the book just to do it, so nobody could tell me I didn't know what I was talking about. And then, you know, you give back though. Somebody helped me out, and it's like you never know who you're going to help, and it could change just millions of people. Somebody helped me, and I'm able to touch, you know, 50 to 100 million people every year. Yeah. You know, that are over the world watch the show.
Yeah.
And it's like
100 million people watch you. Just think about that for a second. 100 million people are watching you. That's huge.
That's just, I'm a goofy looking dude. It's, you know, it's like Josh liked to joke because I'm funny looking. People remember it real easy.
Yeah.
You know, it's not hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. She looks like she popped out of a magazine. I can't wait to listen to this guy rap. I mean, I'm really excited about this, and just great people. I mean, it's so cool.
I just like how you're a real guy, Josh. You don't come in with like the big ego and the big head. Like
I got big ears. That's the only thing that's about big. I mean, I'm half Asian, was over circumcised. I'm working through it. It's not a big deal. You got that sense of humor that Josh I could always respect and love. What are your kind of key core inner ingredients, Josh, that you would recommend to someone that, you know, has aspirations, that has true dreams to become a TV star like you? Like, you know, I mean, we can either kind of take the road to answer my question on how you got your start, or just your kind of your thought process and your recommendations for someone to just be able to, you know, do a show, you know, on a small budget level, and, you know, run it through like Comcast local here in Seattle, Bellevue. Or what's your thought process to be able to become someone like a Josh Ayers? You don't want to ask me that question. No, it's just we just live. It's just like if the TV film crew was here, they'd be behind me right now, and then they could be like, all of a sudden,
I'd like to get
Miss
them in next
World
time.
puts on the crown, dun dun dun, and it's like they make this music. It sounds so intense, and and they cut the commercial, and it's like, I need to know what happened. She put it on. Like, what's she gonna do? Or maybe he starts beatboxing, he starts warming up, and it's like, will he rock this house? Or something crazy. Is she gonna get on the table and start dancing? They cut the commercial. It's like we need to know what she's gonna. She put on the crown. He started beatboxing. Like, I'm fucking playing with my hair. Like, shit's getting crazy. You just don't know.
Right.
But in all reality, we're on TV because we were in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah.
The world has problems like we do. Our biggest problem isn't, are we gonna buy a Lambo and go to Dubai, or are we gonna
She's actually going to Dubai. Have you been to Dubai, Josh?
No, there's camel spiders there.
Oh, okay.
I'm afraid of midgets, spiders, owls, and heights.
There you go. That's a personal side of Josh that we know now, that you're afraid of those things. And we all have to.
I'm afraid of heights too.
Yeah, dude. It's just, in midgets, I don't know what it is, but I will shove children out of the way if I see one coming at me. And
well, there you go. I mean, we all have our senses of things that we're afraid about or worried about, and for you,
it's
that's
not their fault. And it's time for. They smell like cabbage usually. They're little. They come at you, and it's one of those things that I don't know.
When you're at your house on your off time, and your house is beautiful. I don't know if you're in the current house, but I remember the last house that I was at. Yeah. It's a beautiful house. Do you like on a random Wednesday night? Are you turning on your television and watching some of your shows, or do you just do you want to have that separation when you're off camera? You just kind of want to live the Josh life, and when you're on camera, you're in the zone and you're doing what you do so well at.
I haven't watched the show since my dad passed away. I already know what happened because I was there. Yeah. So it's like and whenever I see commercials or something or ads and billboard, I get cold just thinking about it.
Sure.
I love heat. So I love watching movies. That's why I always put the big movie theater rooms together. Yeah. Eating popcorn, doing absolutely nothing of any responsibility. Yeah. Having a few cocktails, giving a lot of hugs and high fives, and doing cartwheels down the street, which you may see later today. You just never know. But I got a sober driver. It's good. Yeah, you do. Yeah. You do. I don't know if I've met these guys in the past, but I remember Dave here, and if this time we'll get Dave on today, because Dave, you're also someone that's well respected in the nightlife scene here in the Pacific Northwest. Dave, do you still have your bar? No, closing now. Okay, you've evolved. You're doing other things. So whatever you're doing, much props and much respect to you, Dave. Josh, what are some ways, some recommendations and thoughts for people, like we just kind of touched on earlier on my last question, in terms of people trying to evolve to become a TV star like yourself, but in terms of your recommendations for people that can relate to you in terms of ultimately how you kind of balance your off time versus your on air time, and how you have that proper separation built into proper accordance. If you think about this, ever since our show came out, there's a show about jobs for everything, even exterminators. Like toilet cleaners. You got all these different things that have popped out and evolved. It's not, in this day and age, everyone is opening up new TV stuff. Facebook has just launched their TV department now. You got Amazon that launched their TV department. You got Netflix who's dumped, I think they got the biggest budget out of everybody for TV and original stuff. And it's crazy. This new world of, online sources is it's insane, and the amount of money, the billions and billions of dollars that they're pumping into it. Like Mike Rowe just moved to Facebook, and that's where he's doing his TV stuff. I just ran him to the airport when I flew in, and he did narrating for our show for years and still does. But it's always good to see Mike. He's an awesome guy. You'd love him. Well, let's get him on the show. Let's try to get him on the show, either with you or if we have to do it via phone. We have multiple capabilities here. I can do phoners. I can do Skype where they can see me, and so let's definitely do that. What gets you the most excited?
Harris, I got a question off of what you're just asking. I'm just kind of curious, like the role social media has played in someone like your life, and just what you've seen from being in the industry and having a following on this. And also, I'd love Miss World's opinion on how social media has helped us being in the social media space. How has this helped your guys' careers, just where you've seen this, if you don't mind? Like your
Good
Twitter,
question.
Instagram.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you.
How many followers you have? Go ahead.
It's really great. This is one thing I'll let you guys know. Never give your best friend your passcodes to your shit, because they'll take it, and then when you find out they're humping your girlfriend, then they want to sell it back to you. Even I had the official Josh Harris page, but he decided it was his. the cool thing about the, Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, which he had all the passwords so you change, you can get it back, but after 12 years, they erase all your followers and then they give it back to you. So if you can imagine, then when you go to rebuild it back again, so fun fact, remember this, even your husband, get it like a coordinator or some sort that deals with all your stuff with a contract. Because like these people, if anything ever did go down, you lose all. It takes a lot of time to build this all up, and then people don't want to follow the new sites because they already had you, and they're like, "Oh, this is no way." Like how many times my Facebook's been hacked. They started a new one. It's this one, and it's a total lie. Like most people, get all those hacks. But so to start that off with, that's very important to anybody that's in any sort of industry like ours.
If you're in the spotlight, obviously, you have 100 million people watching you, and you got to protect yourself.
So that's something that you always want to remember. Number two, it's like, anytime that we do stuff, it gets looked at. We go out and we help certain things, from raising money for, people, or going down and just feeding the homeless, like in Monroe, Washington, where I grew up. I mean, there's like over 500 people that are homeless that live in their cars, which is crazy because you don't see them walking around the streets. Yeah. But the little kids that we were doing the barbecue for, hot dogs, hamburgers, salads, and all this stuff. And then you get to tell your story. It's like there is life out there. So you work hard, you keep that envisionment in your head.
That's nice you do that, Josh. It's really good you do that.
Well, you give back to people, but when you do this, it makes awareness to everybody that's in your area, and it really helps, and it gives back, and you just never know whose life is going to change, because I was that kid once, and now I get to help millions and millions of people. So it's cool. And then you get to spread the word out by coming on shows like this. And when you talk about stuff like this and you get these different topics that you bring in, you can change a lot of things positively and really put help where help's needed.
And that's what we're doing here with FutureNet and Studio 110 and everybody as a group effort here at Studio 110.live's headquarters. And like I said, I'm excited for you and Ryan when we get off the air here to talk about that further. But I think kind of what you just said is so important, because if you don't build into that proper foundation, and whatever it is, whatever agreement it is from if it's family members or, like you mentioned, even girlfriends or whatever it is, you've got to have it. You've got to have it. If you're in the spotlight and you're a known figure, you got to protect yourself, because you and I see all the time. You're flipping through TMZ every hour of the day. Someone's coming out with some new thing, and you want to kind of continue to stay on that clean launching pad, and that's just it's good business. That's what it's about.
Josh, what's your follower base? Like, how many Twitter followers are on Instagram? What's your social
I
media
used to have millions and millions, but now I'm down to it started over again a couple years ago. I think the only thing I really use is Instagram anymore. Like our page has just for the fishing page, like a couple million now. I think is what we're back up to, and then got on my personal Instagram, just 50,000. No, that sucks, because when we're at millions and then you get taken down, it takes a while to build back up. But I really haven't had time, because once you get into a relationship, apparently my unit is so big. I'm humping some chick in New York right now, even though I'm in studio here, and it's making drinks back there too. So it gets really confusing when you have a lot of social media and you have a relationship, because people will start claiming all sorts of awesome stuff, or they'll post pictures that were from a year ago and be like, "This is happening now," and like to comment stuff. So, social media it's a huge plus on so many different ends, and it's also the devil on others. If you look at it, and but at the end of the day, it's just now I'm starting to kind of get back into the social media things. I kind of, I took the year off, man. I stayed away from everything, and dealing with all the family drama that I have, and then my brother.
Yeah, sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to downgress, kind of downgrade, just kind of take it down a couple notches, and reinvent yourself, like you with, if you're dealing with the struggles of family issues, and family first, family
always.
first at the end of the day, and that's why you're kind of an iconic member of your family. Because not to say that family members should go to that person to rely on them, but like I think you really are a true core sense of the American dream. I mean, look where you started and look where you're at now. I mean, you're a major TV star on a top rated network, going into your 14th season of the hit TV show that is The Deadliest Catch. In addition to the movie with The Rock that we talked about earlier and the TV show The Deadliest Catch, what else is on the horizon? What else are you?
Do you mind if we come back to this a second? I could ask Erica, Miss World, your opinion on just like how it's really affected the industry that you're in and kind of tying. Go ahead if you would. I'm just curious.
Wow. So it's going to be a lot different than what you just shared. So about a year and a half ago, one of my coaches told me that social media was not a place for your personal life, that the purpose of it is to brand yourself and for networking. Like a year and a half ago, I had 100 friends on Facebook because it was my grandma and my uncle and like the people that were in my wedding. And I didn't have a Twitter account. I used to because I was trying to stalk Robert Pattinson after Twilight, like back in 2009. But I couldn't find him. He didn't have it at the time, so I'm like, whatever. And then I didn't start an Instagram page until I started working with teens in Seattle because guess what? Only grandparents use Facebook. The teenagers use Instagram. And so,
Snapchat.
yeah, and Snapchat scares me because someone sent me a picture of their movement one time. And
If you guys are
really
going to be
didn't
on
want
the
to
air,
see
I just want you guys to talk clearly in the mic so everybody can hear you. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I do have, as far as the Miss World, they do have an Instagram and a Twitter and a Facebook page that they run, that the organization runs. So I don't have access to it. I don't use it. But I do have a personal fan page, and then I just have my Megan Built Normal Human page. And for a while, I really kept them both separate. So on my Megan Built page, you would see like my dog and my husband and my hikes. And then on Miss World, you'd see airplanes and bikinis and fashion. And so right now, as Miss World kind of coming to a close in a few months, I'm trying to mold the two together so that people can just get a really transparent view of who I am.
Yeah.
So.
How about you, Mac Slug, on the kind of the
really
local?
and really fast. What's your following count? I'm just curious, like on your biggest thing.
On Instagram, I think it's up to like 3,000 now. And then just, I don't know, I have 5,000 Facebook friends now. Woo!
That's awesome.
I use it for promotional purpose. Trying to
A little closer to the mic.
all right. Like I said, I use it for promotional purpose, like for music, touch with my family, whatnot. That's what I think it's for, And like if you got family from everywhere, especially Facebook.
Right.
Facebook for that. Snapchat, I don't do Snapchat. A lot of young kids do it because hey, we don't do this. I just use Instagram and Facebook. There was my Twitter too. I'm a big Twitter fan. I'm always tweeting.
Very nice.
And following and doing the hashtag. I do a lot of hashtags too. Big on things on the hashtags.
See, I never use Twitter. Like, I've got a Twitter, and I've had a couple now, I guess. But like social media people do that one. I'm like Instagram. It's real simple, quaint. You just pop a picture on there, and they just have like a 1-sentence deal, maybe a video. I go to Disneyland a lot, usually getting drunk with these characters, and that's what we do. Run around, and we have fun. But Instagram, I like a lot.
Instagram, especially the live. When you could do the live and be, hey, I'm right here.
Yeah.
Like we doing now. Everybody doing live. They could see you chime in a little bit. You could talk to the people, maybe over in Dubai, like you said, or Europe or whatnot, and they chime in on you.
Yeah.
And I think that's a beautiful thing,
So, Ryan, I think this would be a good time if you want to just speak directly in the mic here for me. If you can just kind of let my listening audience here know and my in-studio guests about what you've built up, the dream that you've conquered here for a lot of people. Just give a brief synopsis, and we'll talk about it more off the air. But I'd like everybody in the studio to hear about it. So.
Sure. So obviously, what we're working with here, we've got a nice station here. Is we're tying this and promoting everyone that comes on our show on this new Facebook that pays the people in Bitcoin. Okay. And it's really interesting as we talk about how we use social media, and also you talk about the technologies behind them that's making us be able to connect more, helping us grow our fans out there.
Yes.
Because it's like someone like you, Josh, for example, you've been able to build up a fan base and stuff where your presence, your online, presence, you've got, it will carry you to your next job, your next big hit play in life and stuff. Like, you got wonderful personality, all you guys do. Yeah. But we're seeing, we're able to have our own lives a little bit more, our more freedom, Miss World being a stay-at-home mom, and people follow what she's doing and stuff. But I really feel that monetization is a big thing in social media that's missing, to where our network can become our net worth, which means that money from social media is going back to the people in form of cryptocurrency. So more families around the world can have more of these lives and be able to have a little bit more breathing room, because the money coming from the content producers who are us. So that's what we bring at Face to the world, is the next Facebook that pays the people in the Bitcoin, but also the world's first uncensored and encrypted social media network. So you could tease people, just say, hey, I can't show this image on Facebook because it's so bad, but finger being cut off, for example, check what happened on the boat. Follow me uncensored on the next Facebook that pays the people at Bitcoin. Boom. This is a movement, especially with what's all is happening with Mark Zuckerberg right now in the breach of of information and social media being used as when it's a public utility, it's with a political agenda and stuff. The people, we feel, need to own the social media network for one time only, and that's what we've accomplished over here at FutureNet, actually. So we're excited to talk to all you guys about this.
So when we get off there, we'll talk about that. Do you have a question right now, John?
Oh, no. I was going to say, no, well, definitely. I have some things to share.
Very
with you.
excited.
No, it's interesting.
Follow that story.
So that's kind of the large kind of platform that we're continuing to build here at Studio 110.live. And I think thank you, Ryan. It was a good kind of transition into the kind of the latest topic of conversation, talking about social networking. Because at the end of the day, I mean, if we're not necessarily on the kind of the traditional Facebook and we're moving to Instagram or whatever the case may be, that was a big deal for Facebook to have those privacy setting issues, and that's not an issue that with Ryan's rollout of FutureNet and everything going on.
I would love to have a picture with all you guys before you leave.
Yeah.
So we'll get a picture after we get off the air here in about another 25 minutes. I think this would be a good time. We got I like to just kind of always maneuver and switch through things. A friend of mine is doing a large show this weekend in I want to say the Fremont area, I believe.
The Nectar.
And it's called the 4. No, this is Sunday. 4. I'm going to talk about that too. This is called 4 a.m. Vibes, hosted by Mr. High Def. They asked me to stop by too and get on the mic and say hello to the crowd. So I'm going to do it. We got Brody Miles, we got Payday, my guy Payday. Shout out to Payday, Old Skinny, 30 Gang, X-Rated Blaze. It's going to be at Substation. Tickets are $10, 21 with ID. Presented by my guy. Shout out to my guy JR LaFlame. He just had a baby, his third baby. Shout out to you and the whole family. Hopefully the baby's doing well. So once again, 4 a.m. Vibes, hosted by my guy Mr. High Def. Performances by X-Rated Blaze, Brody Miles, Payday, Old Skinny, 30 Gang. It's going to be at Substation. Tickets, $10, 21 up with ID, and that's going down April 8th. Starts at 8 p.m. So get your tickets for that. Do whatever you got to do to support local hip-hop. Speaking of hip-hop, we got my guy Devin the Dude. He'll actually be there tonight. That's a sold-out show.
Devin the Dude?
Devin the Dude is in town tonight.
Yeah. Devin the Dude.
Yeah, Devin the Dude. It's a sold-out show tonight, and shout out to Devin the Dude. He may still stop by this afternoon, and shout out to G. Perez for throwing that show. It's a sold-out show. You always know you got the proper ingredients when you're selling out a show when you come to the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, he's Devin the Dude.
He's Devin the Dude. So
he got a big following up here.
Does he?
That's my
And
partner
the PA?
too. Yeah.
Back east, PA?
Down in where?
Oh, you say the PA or?
No, I said up here.
Oh, I
Northwest.
thought you said the PA. I
Big
was like,
following.
shit.
Big following.
Oh, thank you, David.
that's my partner.
two guys that always come up in this market are Tech Nine and Devin the Dude. And they always do well.
Tech
They
Nine's
always
definitely,
do well
yeah.
up here.
Tech
So,
Nine. Is
Tech
he still
Nine.
coming? Is he still coming?
He comes
around?
up here all the time.
Dude,
comes up here all the time.
I got to see that guy live.
Yeah, Tech Nine always
been a long
comes up
time.
here too. So Josh, let's kind of get back into it. Deadliest Catch, 14th season on the big old network, and
Actually, I got some questions for you guys.
Yep.
I'm gonna ask each one of you guys a question.
I guess you're the co-host here.
Yeah, would you mind?
I don't mind at all. I don't
When I'm
mind
sitting in a room with people, I'm like, I've worked with you now for years and years.
Yeah.
I love working with you.
Thank you.
You're really good at what you do.
Thank you very
I
much.
could never do your job because I would screw it up.
Thank you.
But
Thank
but as I'm sitting here with you, what is the biggest challenge for you in your industry, Mac Slug?
Biggest challenge for me, I would say more promotions.
What's the hardest thing for you? Like when you say more promotions, like if I'm a guy sitting on a couch listening to this podcast, what does that mean?
That means I just want everybody just to stay in tune with what I'm doing and just buy my product, share it to everybody, just keep sharing it till it just, get on that level like everybody else, especially coming from Seattle, because there's only a handful of us, and I think I should be a forefront of the level of Seattle, going and overseas represent Seattle the proper way and the right way. So, so that's what I would say. Because I could do everything else, the music, engineering. That's the easy work.
See, you're a cool cat, man. You're full of smiles, and it's just good vibes, man. Good vibes. I'm excited to hear your music.
Man,
I'm gonna put this into my big ass truck, and I'm gonna be bumping this shit.
Yes, definitely.
As I leave from here.
Yes, and when you on a boat too.
Oh, dude, don't threaten me with a good time. My name's Josh, and I like to party. We'll get down.
All right.
And eat salmon.
Man, you eat
that.
salmon. I don't eat fish. It's bait. But I'll tell you one thing. That's pretty cool. Now, you young lady, with your like awesome and hotness and amazing bedazzle, like the sparkly Miss World thing, because that's a big accomplishment, and that's going to be extremely stressful. So, like, what is your biggest challenge? What are you going to do next? What's your next step? Because you're integrating all your stuff together now. So, what's your big move, and how hard is it to be in your position?
Wow. So
We talked about this earlier. We
Noted.
kind of touched on this with YMCA and mental illness and just your church. And so why don't you expand and kind of tell Josh?
I know who I'm sitting with now, so.
Yeah. So originally, I'd been working with the YMCA of Greater Seattle, YMCA organization, for about 7 years. And last summer, when I won Miss World, I decided, I couldn't do both well. And you only get to be Miss World once.
That's pretty cool, though. I mean, you got to feel, that's a lot of stress.
It's pretty awesome. The most stressful part that I had to get over was getting the expectations for who I was supposed to be that other people had for me out of my head.
Oh, touche.
There's a lot of people that want to put expectation on you in any role that you want. And if there's ever any person doing that, you really have to shake that out.
Yeah. Got to weed it out. Yep.
Put up the wall, man.
Yeah. It's good to have expectation, but it needs to come from within.
Yeah, it definitely does.
That can tear you apart pretty quick, isn't it? Like,
Yeah. So I have a lot of mentors that are constantly speaking into me. And one of my really good friends, her name is Heidi, she's like, hey, you are the first Miss World 2017, 2018. There's never been someone like you, and there'll never be another person after you. And you get to decide to do whatever you want with your reign.
Yep.
And the best part is, my whole life, I've always loved juggling a million things at once. So going and not being able to really catch a breath, I love it. I love having a full schedule.
Well, you
is
have
your
a gift then, because I hate it. You got to be 50 places at once.
Flexible and gracious.
That's awesome.
Megan, who is, if I had to ask, and maybe there's multiple, but who would you say is your biggest mentor?
Oh, wow.
That just happened.
Dang, you guys.
That's a good question.
That is so good. So, I mean, we have different mentors that speak into our marriage, our finances, just as far as health and wellness, being a girl.
But who do you feel like you can open up to anyone, whether it's relationships, whether it's, personal insecurities, whether it's someone just getting under your skin, whether it's someone
Boy, he's
setting you
digging deep, isn't he?
To be honest, and this is going to sound really cheesy, but there's not a single human on this earth that I think I can be 100% transparent, ugly, beautiful, anything with. I try to, even my mom, who I'm super close with, I try to just show her the pretty things half the time to not make her worry. But if there's one person that I can literally cry on the floor of my bedroom to, it's Jesus.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
So,
it's powerful. Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, I think that sums it up, and that shows your background and ultimately how you were raised and how you carry yourself, and the pendulum for you to be able to give that crown to the next runner-up that hopefully will have the same beliefs and core inner strengths like you do, Megan. And it's all about when you pass it on to the next person, you hope that they'll wear it and respect it and keep it in the top premium light that it deserves to be in ultimately, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, with our industry, if you don't believe in God, you soon will. And it's like, it's scary when you get up there. You ever been hit with a 5-gallon bucket of water? You know, somebody jumps out and they're like, and they get you, and you're like, oh, well,
know
that
the
weight, if
feeling.
it ever happens to you, imagine that weight, I'm 5 gallons. But when you get 1,000,000 gallons coming at you, and it's a little bit different, you have to push things that weigh as much as a car. When the boat goes up like this, you got to push that uphill, or else somebody dies. Like, it sucks. But you find Jesus and God and all that other happy, holy stuff, and you pray quite frequently. And on really bad days, you always wear your brown pants.
Yeah, I see. Oh my God. It seemed like when you guys be sliding everywhere though, like when you guys.
No shit. Yeah.
Man, that ice. I'll be like, damn, how they do that?
Dude, I don't even know how we do it either. It's like it's you know, I look back on it, but I only have to work a couple months out of the year. So, you know,
Okay.
it's like we go up and we, you know, kill it. If I do my job right, we're only gone for about 4 months out of the year. You know, we've got Axel Hillstrand, his family and him are on the Time Bandit.
The
you know?
Time Bandit,
yeah. And
I like
you know,
that
so
boat. I should
like
watch it.
that only the other boat that was on the show that was like ours was a Time Bandit. And then when my father passed away and I lost our boat because he had passed, you know, I went over with these guys and like this guy's a maniac. He is an absolute maniac. Just look at him. I've kept him up for 2 days straight now. He just flew into Seattle. I flew in at the same time. And like we're actually doing some filming down in Ballard, you know, the past couple days, shooting another TV show and.
Well, that's what you've been busy with, because that's what I
Yeah.
kind of kicked it off. I was curious to know, because I talked to you a few times on the phone. You
And
said
I was
you're
in LA, and then I was in Detroit, and then back to LA, and we filmed down there, flew up here, got off the jet, immediately started filming again, finished filming last night, I think. Yeah, last night.
And then you go to New York. When do you go to New
I
York?
go to New York tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
Yeah,
wow.
so I'll be there for 7 days. I got to go be a piece of furniture and speak to a bunch of ad sales people. You know, they want to invest hundreds of millions of dollars in ads, and so I got to go there and be like, I'm the corporate puppet. Hello, and you know, like with the little strings.
But that's what's so great about you, Josh, is you're like that NBA player that wears that jersey that represents your brand, your show, your channel, but you can maneuver and pivot through and
know what
play different roles ultimately.
This
and you
is
like
the
them.
best part about my brand is me being a ding dong, a dipshit, and a moron because it's real,
Yep.
and that's what creates us.
Yep.
And it's like we help though. My whole family legacy has been we help. We go out and help. We help the community. We do our best and believe in people when nobody is there to believe in, because we all have a lot of issues.
Yep.
You know, and people that say they don't have any issues, they're full of shit. They're in denial.
Yeah.
So it's like when you can accept people for their faults, because we're all screwed up in some which way or another.
Sure.
But you just learn to adapt and sometimes learn to speak to somebody on a level they understand. Because a lot of times communication is key to everything.
It is.
You
That's
know?
what I always tell my friends. Like when friends come over to my house and they ask me for relationship advice or whatever it is, I always say, how is the communication? If there's a communication barrier or breakdown, you really can't go to sleep. If you've got a significant other, whatever your relationship status is, that air should be cleared. So you kick off the next day with a smile on your face. You know, who wants to go to sleep with drama? you know?
Well, a lot of times when you're with somebody
Nobody.
for a long period of time, you automatically assume that they are understanding what you're saying. Everybody evolves over time. So you get married and you're in a relationship for a long time and you're fighting about little stuff. But as you evolve as a person, you get a new job, you get a new pet, you have a kid, whatever, and your time's being more consumed, you start to look at things differently. But in your head, because you're sleeping next to that person or it's a family member, they automatically, because we've been together and so close for so long, they know what I mean when I say this.
Yeah.
Well, no, they don't all the time.
Yeah.
And you got to take time out of your day to say, like, okay, we're fighting a lot about this, or, what I'm trying to say is this. And, and they're like, well, that's not the way you've been saying it. Well, this is what I'm trying to say. And,
Sure, sure.
You got to redirect things, and that's communication is the key. But also, you look at up here in Seattle, we have one of the worst heroin problems on this planet. It's like it's engulfed this whole area, and it's gotten to the point where out of 10 people being arrested, 9 of them are high on heroin, and they have to release them. Like, guys can go rob a bank, armed robbery, and if they piss hot for heroin, their level's so high, they have to go drop them off right in front of the bank where they picked them up.
Really?
That's how bad it is over here.
Wow.
But they just passed a law, I think, where they're opening up some big med centers. So if you had 3 different arrests and you have then heroin in your system, then you go away automatically for a year to this treatment center. Hopefully it's working because, it's causing a lot of problems. And it's taking a lot of the youth. Everyone, when you're younger, I grew up Jehovah's Witness and was shoved into lockers and stuff, and that sucked. Now I get to roll into a Ferrari or Lambo and be like, yay!
Yeah.
Give the bird, let everybody know they're number one. But then over time I started thinking about when I was like my thought process when I was a kid, like what it's evolved to. And I don't think anything like I thought when I was younger. So the kids nowadays, to be cool, they will do anything. Or kids are like decensored, it's like, so they're used to being on their phone and getting all the knowledge they ever needed out of their phone.
Yeah.
But when it comes to dealing with people in like real life situations, they can't talk. They get scared. They feel like they're worthless in a lot of aspects.
Yeah.
So they turn to doing drugs.
Yeah.
And then they don't feel anything. They're invincible. But those drugs actually, hurt everybody. And that's what the huge problem is. I think it's like 40% of kids are on drugs in school, in high school.
That's terrible. I was listening to one of my buddies. He's on Sirius radio out in New York, and he's developing food trucks in the inner cities to park outside, the middle schools and the high schools, because he shared a statistic on his show that so many kids in America today. Breakfast is the most,
important
meal of the day. And they're not, these kids, they're not eating breakfast because they can't afford to eat breakfast. And it's, I like seeing these types of movements where, you're incorporating food trucks for these inner cities to be able to get food into these kids, stomachs, to be able to have a good education. And, ultimately, Josh, I am going to revolve this back to you, and because you are a true prime example of capturing the American dream. And I know your childhood was definitely different than other people's, but you know what? You said, I'm going to prevail through this, and I'm not going to let anybody stop me. And you charged through it, and look where you're at today.
In life, you're a victim or survivor. You get to choose. I could have an excuse for everything.
Yeah.
I didn't graduate high school, was homeless. Grew up Jehovah's Witnesses. Nothing against Jehovah's Witnesses. Love them and stuff. Just have a different view on my opinions. But it's like, if you want something bad enough, then you're gonna get it.
Yep.
Yep. And everyone has their own issues. There's nobody out there that's perfect, unless it was Jesus Christ walking the earth, and he probably was the man. But and other than that, there's nobody perfect on this planet.
Yeah.
We all have issues, and just like if we can start helping the world, I think it's gonna be a lot more amazing. Like you go to New York though, see, from Seattle here, if we give hugs and high fives. You get on a train out in Brooklyn or something.
Oh, I know. I'm from there.
Oh,
My family's there.
I try to give high fives. They're like, you're not from around here. I was a little lit. I'm all, yo, this is awesome. I'm so happy. Like, high five. And they're like, yeah, you ain't from around here. I'm all, not even close.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. You definitely know a Seattleite, when you're kind of in the middle of Times Square and it's a busy packed, Saturday night or whatever. You know who that Seattleite's going to be. You know who that Josh Harris is going to be.
You bet your buttons. Check out these ears, man.
Yeah, you got to have that foundation. You got to have that proper, footstool to come into a larger market like in New York City and represent. Because I've been to New York a few times, and someone would say, "Hey, where do you live?" And I said, "Seattle." Where's that? Like, are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? Where's that? Like,
it's the capital of coffee, not a big deal.
They say, is that near that city called Los Angeles? I said, yeah, it's a couple stops up. You got Oregon, and then you got Washington. But it just shows you how people are just like they're so in that bubble where they're just it's New York to them, it's Miami, it's Chicago, it's Boston, it's Detroit. And then go out to the Pacific Northwest, and then the other thing too that they always say, it doesn't
California.
rain. Yeah,
I was thinking about California.
They always say that doesn't it rain there every day, and the highest suicide rate and all that. Yes. And I said, well, not exactly.
We call it liquid sunshine out here.
Yeah. I mean, I look. I have friends that have had to invest money to buy these, the proper lights for their houses to make them feel happy. The
Really?
Sunlights. Yeah, I have.
Does that really exist? That's a real deal?
Yeah, you can actually buy lights.
Get outta
Yeah,
here.
you can buy lights for people that have like home offices, and
No way.
and it gets them through their day. Yeah,
They need the light to get them through the
This
day.
is why I live in Laguna and here, because
Yeah.
this is the only thing I don't like is
Seattle.
Christmas time and you see palm trees decorated. It looks like a
Get out of
giant,
Seattle sometimes.
and it's exploding.
right.
Trying to keep it, PR friendly.
And I was going to comment on that because I remember I stayed down in Miami. And I was doing music, and you tell them where you from. They be like, "Oh, you from D.C.?" Like, no, I'm not
Washington.
from D.C.
Yeah.
Or they ask your accent. You from California? I'm like, no, I'm from Washington State. And it just like you said, that's funny because when you outside of Seattle, Texas, or you travel a lot. Oh, I'm from Seattle. They be like, Seattle.
Well, a lot of people understand it now because coffee's been pushed so hard. Starbucks,
Yeah,
Seattle.
now they do. Yeah,
And
now they do.
They're always like, I hear everybody's really angry till about 9:30 in the morning. I'm like, you bet your ass they are.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's upset. I don't drink coffee, and I own a coffee company. How weird is that? Yes.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. What's the name of the coffee company?
That's the deadliest fucking brew that we started a long time, which evolved into Phil Harris. It's
See, the nice thing about this interview compared to all of your others with me at the former radio station was there was no swearing there. Like,
Yeah, I know. I wasn't
so now you must feel like you're in your
I'm in my
comfort zone at
prime.
your
I
house to
am.
be able to swear.
I know.
Left and right. Because
I'm so
Josh, no, it's all right. Because Josh really can't get through 30 seconds without throwing out.
I don't even know I'm doing it most of the time.
That's all right.
It's
That's
just
all right.
I curse like a sailor.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Because I'm a sailor. You know.
Yes.
So
How's the coffee business doing?
Oh shit! Let's just talk about other things right now. Let's get back to the normal shit.
I'm sure
Good stuff.
I'm sure it's doing well because otherwise, you're a modest, humble guy, and it's been great to have you in here, Josh. When you get back from New York, I want to get you back on the show, and we'll talk about how the New York visit went. And I also thought it would be cool too. You've always got things that you're working on, so maybe we can continue to use this platform for you to put it on your social that you're coming ahead at Studio 110 with Dirty Harry to make a cool new
If
announcement.
shit goes south, I'm going in to do movies. Just become a real live movie star. But I don't really know because I kind of sold half my soul to the devil. I don't know if I want to give the whole thing to it because that animal down there is just so fucking weird. I mean,
well, I hope the Deadliest Catch continues to reach into the 20th season and the 25th
Jesus.
season. I mean,
it
it must not be a bad lifestyle to only have to work 3 or 4 months a year. I mean, it must not be that hard, right? I mean, it's nice.
That'll never change. Unless I actually go into movies full time, and that's something that I got to really look into because one thing I can say, everyone can look at all these different people that you see on the big screen, you automatically think of this person's going because they always play the same roles. Like generally you're going to see The Rock and a Kick-Ass. I'm ripping everything apart and hero-ish. He's never really angry except for when The Mummy one time he was angry. Other than that, he's always a hero. Chris Pratt. Actually, he's exactly like me. Comes on set. Today's gonna be the best fucking day of your life. And everyone looks at me and they're like, "Oh God, you two together, no good."
And the luxury that you have too, if you want to walk away, I don't know if walk away is the exact correct way to put it, but if you want to, kind of leave the legacy of the Deadliest Catch there and then do embark into movies. I mean, just your relationships that you mentioned earlier with The Rock and with Chris Pratt. I mean, it probably wouldn't be hard for you to evolve into that.
You think about this, I met over the past 14 years all sorts of people. My birthday was at the Playboy Mansion for 5.5 days straight. I mean, that one was wild. All ended when a girl got bit in the neck by a monkey. It's a long story.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, that was a weird one. But when you meet all these different people and you see their lives, when you get to see behind the scenes when they're not an actor and they're themselves, and all the stuff that they go through, like I go through a lot, but it's on a different level because I'm me,
right?
And you don't have to guess. If you watch the show and you see me here now, it's not really any different, except I'm a little more of a dick. I'm yelling at my guys on deck because they're moving around really slow, or we're about to go through some hellacious shit and I don't want them to die.
Yep.
So, but the switching of the careers, will be really interesting. And right, you always look up to these people, but it's a really lonely life because you really never know who likes you for you.
Sure.
Who's really your friend?
Yeah.
You get all this money, and then everyone's just trying to suck it. You know how much money it costs just to keep money? A shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And then you got to have 36 attorneys on retainer and like all this other weird stuff that normal people don't have. And it makes you go bonkers.
Yeah.
Your best friends are dipping into your pockets. Like, it's weird. So then you just stay at home. You buy a big house and you invite who you want to come over, and that's it. You can't go out because then there's some drunk guy in the corner that hates you, never met you, just absolutely hates you. Like, I mean, imagine when you go out, like there's women that look at you and they're like, I hate this woman. I don't care if she's the nicest woman on the planet. I just hate you. And then you come out to the rappers, probably just start trying to, talk smack or do whatever, and you're cool as shit. Like, you're always smiling. Like, you're one of the happiest people I've ever met, too. I mean, but it's the industries. It's just so weird. And people hate you for no reason. And it's not fair. Right. But you put yourself out there and you try to lead by example in a lot of aspects. And it's it's always extremely tough. So how much more of that do you want? And then when you go into a scripted role, it's like you're playing somebody that you're not, and people hate you because you just seem like you're. I look funny, I have to shave before I fly to New York, or I get randomly selected, and that's fine and everything. But it's people perceiving people as one thing, and it's like then you have a kid. People want to hurt you for no reason. They want to hurt your family. They want to do whatever they can to get at you because you ruin their life somehow. You don't know how you did it personally, but In their mind,
Yeah.
you've done. I mean, you are controversial. I bet you've had some scares back in the past. Now,
I've said a few things on the radio that people have disagreed with, and one of my favorite stories was I was doing a nightclub appearance on Capitol Hill, and this one guy was with his girlfriend, and he tried to be kind of macho guy, and he followed me out, and he tried to follow me to my car, and he just tried to escalate it into upper levels, and I had two buddies with me, and my buddies kind of looked at me and they said, do you want us to step in? And I said, yeah, maybe we should cause the biggest embarrassment of his life right now. So my two buddies that are personal friends of mine still to this day were undercover, but they were just hanging out with me for the night, and they both happened to be members of a local police agency here in Washington. So all they had to do was just lift up their shirt, and you saw the badge.
Yeah.
They didn't badge them. They lifted up the shirt, and they just saw the badge, and the guy's face just went hot pink. He actually came over to me and said, can I apologize? And I said, no, you can actually get as far away from me as humanly possible.
I've seen you in the element before. It's good.
You just, so it just shows you never know who really. You just don't want to mess with people.
Yeah.
You don't want to mess with people because sometimes it can be a really just ugly ending.
But it's just crazy, like how people can hate when they don't even know anything, the basis on anything. And it's so interesting, and in all three of our different industries,
Yeah, exactly.
we feel the hate, and people just because people like you.
But you know what it is, Josh? You know what it is, and I got to wrap it up. What it is it's inner insecurities where people are hurting so much inside that they have to take their inner tensions and release them on other people so they can be brought up and that other person can be brought down. It's sickening. It's horrible. It's despicable.
I'm going to leave you with this one. Everyone congratulates you when you have a kid, but nobody knows how many times you got fucked in order to have that kid. Remember that shit.
There you go. Josh, it's been...
See, I actually choked up fucking Mr. Harris.
Josh, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show today. I hope next time you come in, you'll swear more, if that's even possible.
I was trying to keep it down.
Megan,
there's a lady sitting next to us here.
Well, yeah.
We got another one right here.
There you go. Megan, Miss World, I hopefully we'll have an opportunity to talk to you before you pass on the crown to the next winner. But much success to you for all that you do here in the community at the YMCA of Greater Seattle and everything with National Alliance on Mental Illness. I thank you for coming in. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and hopefully your new marriage turns out to be as exciting as it possibly can.
We like each other.
There you go. That's a good thing. Mac Slug, all the continuous success to you on a local music scene, and be good to get you back here. Be good to do some shows where we can get you on stage performing, and I can host it, and we can really kind of align the Dirty Harry Mac Slug campaign properly.
I'm pumped to hear this.
And I want to say,
this shit.
I want to say, man, thank you too, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All the time. I'm all about
Yeah.
spreading the wealth and letting people come in and develop their passions and their patterns and be able to help them out. I like helping people out. Dave, I know you. I'm sorry.
Brucey, Axel.
There you go. Thank you guys for coming in.
Megan.
I want to thank my wonderful show producer, Erica.
Erica, you did a great job, Dave. Awesome shawl.
And
earrings to match.
And Erica, you did something right because he didn't swear when he gave you that shout out. So
see?
That's something in itself. So I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. It's Friday. If you're listening to me out here on the West Coast and the Pacific Standard Time zone, you got about 2 hours left, unless you have a cool boss and he lets you hang up the jersey for the day. I hope you have a wonderful weekend wherever you're listening, domestically, internationally. And we'll be back with you Monday, 110.live. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe out there, and I'll look forward to talking to you and seeing you.